Okay, folks, we're looking at the dollar index. We're going to do a weekly review real quick on the dollar index, the euro dollar, British pound, Aussie dollar, Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, and then we'll look at Bitcoin and Ripple. So we have a little bit of a full basket here of markets to go over. And I'll try to make this as short as I possibly can, not try to do too much of the jawboning session. At the end of the video, I will cover the ICT mentorship and how to get into that and what you should be looking for in terms of the process. I know I sent out an email and a lot of folks have gave me feedback, said the link wasn't working in the actual email to get the enrollment process started. So I'll give you all that detail at the end of the video. Don't worry, I'll let you know when I'm going to start talking about that. So if you're not interested, you can just turn the video off after watching the portion that has the market review. All right, so we're looking at the daily chart of the dollar index, and this is through by means of a demo account through Forex Ltd. So there's going to be a few bars missing because of the holiday rut that plagues the price action, and one of the reasons why I stay on the sidelines until the third week of January, which next week puts me back in the ball game. Usually I start on a Tuesday, so I like to see what the price is going to do on Monday, and then I'll be starting to work my way into very, very gradually, very low risk, low leverage trading, and then build up to around beginning of February, where hopefully we'll be back in the swing of things in terms of live trading for my own personal accounts. So we're looking at the dollar index on the daily, and I want to ask you a question like I asked on Twitter today. I asked, what do you see on the dollar index? But specifically I asked it on a 4-hour chart. But I want to kind of like show you on the daily, and then we'll refine it down to the 4-hour. We have an original consolidation. I'm going to save you all the drawn out lipstick, movements and drawing out boxes and stuff. It's just, I'm going to point to the original highlighted areas in terms of where the price action is, and you can mark up your own charts in terms of journaling. But this consolidation right in here, okay, there's a group of candles. This is the original consolidation. It leaves that consolidation with this rally up, and then it retraces back down, almost coming back down to the original consolidation. Doesn't have to do that for a market maker sell model. Price then reaccumulates, smart money reversal, distribution, redistribution, another area redistribution, and this level is rather significant. We're going to talk about this actual key level here later on in the video, but we see price trade off again, come back down, right back up into an area of redistribution, and again we'll talk about this level as well, and then ultimately coming back down, clearing the original consolidation and trading through the old low. Okay, so we have a completed market maker sell model, and under these parameters and the analysis that lends well with the dollar index wanting to go lower, that's what gave me the inclination that we'll probably see a bullish euro dollar, which we'll talk about next. We'll come back to the dollar index chart in a minute, but for now I'm going to go over to the euro dollar and bring up some points from it. All right, so this is the current candle as it is on the Forex Ltd. Now I went a little bit higher than this. For whatever reason, the demo account for Forex Ltd stops at 4 o'clock in New York time, when it still really technically is trading until 5 o'clock. So I'm not sure what causes that little. This is where we closed on Forex Ltd. I'm going to go over to Daily FX, which uses the Forex.com price engine, so you can see where price actually went to today. So, but we're going to use this demo account just to kind of like outline a few things. We're going to start on a weekly chart. So on the weekly chart, we were looking for obviously bearish prices on the dollar index as it relates to the market maker sell model, but in relationship to the euro dollar, we have several things here that lends well to bullishness. Okay, we had an old area of buying, which is this series of 3 weeks of down close candles. Okay, so when you see that, this is 1, 2, 3. So if we could make a 3-week candle or a 3-week candlestick chart, this would be a down close candle. And any return back to it, because price is fractal, this would be a bullish ICT order block. But it's done on a higher time frame weekly chart, so this is going to be rather significant. If we are bearish on dollar, we're looking for bullishness on foreign currency. So euro dollar being the first in the name of the pair, this should rally in relationship to weaker dollar prices. So if we're looking for stronger euro dollar, we have to really focus on an area of where institutional buying should take place. So this is where a large degree of high probability buying would take place in the form of a weekly order block. So we're going to keep these levels germane, but translate them into an hourly chart. Okay, so now we have an hourly chart with the most recent weekly bullish order block. And by itself, you can already see it's pretty significant in terms of responsiveness for price action. But I'm going to add the daily dividers because it's an hourly chart. We can best view the weekly perspective. And if you look at the tutorials I've taught, and this is pretty much, core content for ICT material, I teach that the market, when it's bullish, will create the low of the week with a 70% likelihood on Tuesday. Now, preferably Tuesday London Open, it'll make the higher low. If it doesn't form on the London Open on Tuesday, it can occur on Tuesday's New York Open, have a market reversal profile, and or Wednesday London Open. Typically, if you're going to be bullish, you're going to be expecting the Wednesday New York Open to be kind of like the catalyst for it's either going to be in place by now or it's not. Okay, so we see price creating consolidation last week on Thursday into Friday, rather equal highs. So it's going to be a liquidity pool resting right above that, or in the form of Candyland, as I like to teach it. Price leaves that consolidation, comes back up, tries to retest the original consolidation, which is this area right in here, okay, and sells off. We go into another area of distribution, sells off, and into what day of the week? This begins Tuesday's trading, trades down into the New York Open, okay, and price creates a return back to wanting to be bullish. But it's hard to see without having the weekly context in place, which is that bullish order block. But you can see the accumulation is taking place. They're buying it in here, not doing too much, keeping it around that same level, working in small pieces of their overall order. Rallies away, don't want to draw too much attention to it, comes back down to the weekly order block, buy some more, reacts, don't do any more buying, wait for price to react and go lower, buy some more, a little bit larger punch because they're adding a lot more here. So that displacement causes the price engines to start shooting off into reaching for higher prices. When we see swing highs been broken and the underlying tone of the marketplace is bullish with a bearish slant on the dollar index, if we're bullish on euro dollar, the cards are stacked for a long. Segue into Thursday's trading. We had ECB monetary minutes at 7:30 a.m. New York time. That's this candle right here. Now, because it's a 60-minute candle, we don't see the breakdown where originally it drops down, but we'll look at that when we go to the daily FX chart. We have a low down here, impulse leg up, comes back down. It wicks beyond the 79% retracement level, and I'll add that for you here. Okay, if we use the wicks, this is what we end up with here. You can see pretty much the bodies of the candles are respecting the 79% retracement level. If we use the concept that I teach in terms of using the bodies of the candle, which gets the bulk of the volume right there. So now we have price moving from the lowest opener close to the highest opener close in the relative swings. Price comes back down. Look again, the bodies of the candles are respecting it. Yes, we have two little wicks in here, but it's not running out the low where your stop loss would be. Price drops down into optimal trade entry and then runs into ECB minutes. price immediately screams higher, breaks above this high here, and I said I wanted to see if we're going to see any rejection. If you go to Twitter, you'll see I'm watching to see if we get any rejection in here, because if we don't get any rejection, it's going to go higher, and it's going to go higher with a different style of a rally. Usually we're used to seeing things like this where it'll rally, retrace, rally, retrace, rally. Not when the central banks are involved. When they do a repricing, price will be in a hurry to get somewhere immediately or in short order. And any retracements are going to be very shallow, and generally what you're going to see is very tight consolidations and then rally again. Okay, everything's reversed when it's bearish as well. But in this case, we saw price trade through. I was mentioning that I was looking for the equal highs in here. I wanted to see those levels be cleared out, and that came in the form of 120.50. 120.50 ended up clearing. We've seen that. Price came back down, started consolidating, gave another optimal trade entry in here. Okay, and rallied again in London overnight. Price expanded. I said we had layered liquidity between 2050 to 2080, and I mentioned, by way of explaining the context of this overall move, traders would have their stop loss for shorts above that 120.93 level. That's the old daily high. So if we're going to run that old daily high, and we're using this as the framework originally, running the equal highs here, above these equal highs would get us in really close to what? The 121 big figure. So if we're looking at a run on an old daily high in the form of 120.93 euro dollar, we could potentially sweep the 120 level. So we're looking for what? 120.10, 120.20, 120.30. By itself, that's enough for a move down here to warrant a really handsome price move. Taking obvious logical profits along the way, right above this high would be good. At this area of liquidity in the form of the clean highs at around 120 mid-figure. And then we have the optimal trade entry going in overnight. I mentioned by way of Twitter, I shared the chart showing where the draw was going to be at 120.80 to 120.93. And then obviously the protocol goes to reaching for movement above that 121 big figure. And we have an overall price move that was rather handsome. I had a target, and you can't see it here because this demo account closed at 4 o'clock New York time. But when we go to daily FX charts, you'll see that it actually went a little bit closer to my overall objective, which was 122.32. I shared that chart yesterday on Thursday, showing that it would probably be a likely upside catalyst, and it would be a draw on price. So let's go in a little bit deeper, because I want to show you something else in regards to that dollar index. We have this high right here. So we have these equal highs at first glance, but we went slightly higher here. So on the 12th of December, we want to see if there was a lower low formed than that was made in terms of the low that would be formed on this day on the euro dollar. So November 21st and December 12th. They're going to be our key dates for comparison. So let's go over to a euro dollar daily chart. And we have here November 21st, the low comes in at 117.13. And on the 12th, we have 117.17. So we have a slightly higher low. And I'll show you that in terms of a horizontal line. And you're probably saying, wow, is that really that significant? And the answer to your question is yes. That in itself is enough to warrant the accumulation signature that takes place inside of price action when you know there's smart money accumulating long positions. Now, there is another one that takes place, okay, and we're going to drop down into an hourly chart for the dollar index, and we can see that January 11th, which is here, which was yesterday, and then we have the 10th of January. Look at the highs here, 92.56, 92.56, relatively equal highs. No problem, pretty straightforward and easy enough to understand. But now if we look at the euro dollar, that same thing, but we're looking at the 10th, the low on the 10th and the low on the 11th, it's much significantly higher in terms of comparison. So let's again use the low on the 10th, draw that out. So it's a direct relationship. So we have a low on the 10th and a higher low on the 11th. On the dollar, on the 10th, we can see the high formed here. And again, we're going to use the reference points in terms of time. It's roughly 1 o'clock in the morning, New York time, so when this is occurring. And then we'll use 8 a.m., which would be 3 o'clock in the morning, New York time or London session. So we have on the 10th, it's 6 or 1 a.m. New York time. And on the euro dollar, on this candle here, we can see that that is the same candle in terms of time and the same candle over here. Again, so we have a direct relationship shown here relative to time and price, but we can see the accumulation that's taking place ahead of the ECB. Okay, so when I shared the chart, I highlighted the idea that this range here was important, had the equal highs loaded up, and I'll show you what that looks like. This was the chart I tweeted. So you can see the relative equal highs in here. Let me zoom in. Here's a relative equal highs, disregarding that little bit of a wick in here. And price comes back down and reaccumulation for a longer term price move. Now, I saw an individual question whether this should have been a sell-off because it looks like a market maker sell model, and it is a market maker sell model. But if you go back through the old notes I give, and anyone that's been watching and studying my old material, they understand that the market maker models do not always have to go down and clear the original consolidation because they can become continuation patterns. Now, add that to the mix based on what we've shown on a weekly chart on euro dollar. This is a high probability continuation on the upside, then targeting the equal highs here. So yes, this original sell-off at the breaker was a trade. The buy down here up to the breaker was a trade, but the buy that's accumulating right here, all the signatures were there ahead of ECB, well before ECB even started. The hallmark signatures for smart money accumulation for long or upside movement was already in place. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our charts here. So we have a massive SMT divergence. That's what this is, a smart money technique or a smart money tool. However you want to use it, it's just SMT to me. I had to come up with a way of naming it so that way my kids could understand what I'm referring to. And because I teach basically what I teach my children in terms of the vocabulary I made for myself, everything I teach them is what I teach to my students. That's why many times I refer to my students as munchkins. So don't be offended if that's what you see me referring to everyone on Twitter. It's a term of endearment, trust me. It's not an insult. So we can see the accumulation takes place by the break in correlation, because in normal market conditions, the market symmetry should see a equal low, as we saw with the equal high form with the dollar. When we see that unwillingness for the dollar to go low enough to make an equal low in respective price points in terms of time and price, these two lows should be equal in the euro, but they're not. At a time when overall we are trading at a bullish what? What's this level back down here? Remember what this level was? That's the weekly bullish order block. So we're seeing massive accumulation. So look at the level where it hits it. Okay, the level comes in exactly 1928. What's the low on these candles? 1929, low on this candle. 1929. Okay, just for completeness sake, I want to go back out to a weekly chart, and I want to get the opening price on that weekly chart, because we're seeing lows at 119.29, and I want to show you what the relationship is. Okay, so we have a 15-minute time frame. we can start seeing how very close that price movement was right to the weekly order block. Now, if we're looking at price with the expectation of this being a weekly order block and price should be coming back down to that level to be a buyer, should we look for necessarily 119.28? I would submit no, because we were coming down to that price level. So what would we look for prior to that? 119.30, 119.35, or if you're a longer term swing trader, you can go in at around 119.50 and just use the stop loss below here and be a swing trader and not have any worries about it. You don't have to worry about watching every minute of it. It is what it is. You can be a buyer ahead of the ECB, which I'm sure some of you would be terrified to do. But if the trade's, a setup is there, it is what it is. The volatility that's going to come by way of ECB could many times put you in these types of movements. Now, if it's wrong, it'll obviously go for your stop right away, and it is what it is. That's what you learn by way of using your demo account. But the clear equal highs up in here, obvious draw on price, very, very classic type of price movement. All the hallmarks for smart money accumulation and weekly order blocks there. And Tuesday, low of the week. Boom. Okay. All right, so we're going to segue right on over to the cable, and we'll take a look at that market. Okay, so we're looking at the British pound. This is a weekly chart. And right away, I just want to draw your attention to a level that I think is going to be rather significant. We have this old low back here. We're probably going to see 138.50 level traded to next as an upside. So we have this low as a potential upside objective for next week. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit, get some more details here for you guys. All right, so we have this level as a draw on price. And we're going to take a look at a few things in regards to order blocks. So we have this level right here in the form of 2 down closed candles on a weekly chart. That's a bullish order block. So we'll draw that out. And these levels we'll use on our lower time frames. So the open comes in at 34.92. And we're just going to set that up so it shows that same thing here, 34.92. So now everything has the higher time frame perspective. And again, this is a weekly chart. So we're going to take a look at, again, a run on this old high. And then the draw is 138.50 or thereabouts because it's the old low back there. Okay. So we're going to take that in consideration. Price has been moving higher. So on a higher time frame chart, we have that going for us. Now let's look at a daily chart. Okay, real nice caffeine bar. Big run up here. Okay, and we're going to put our monthly divider in here. Okay, this is a daily chart. Daily chart with a monthly divider on it. We're looking for the monthly range, and we're overall bullish. So we're going to be looking for anything going down as a potential buying opportunity. Okay, so let's take this and build some more context around it. And we're going to take this whole thing, again, with a weekly bullish order block, which is what this is here. We're going to drop down into an hourly chart. Okay, as you can see, here's an hourly chart on the British pound. We had a lot of equal highs in here. So it's a massive buildup of retail resistance. So everything is going to point well to a lot of buy-side liquidity resting right above these highs. So with a big, juicy target like that for buying opportunities to be rated, anything going down should be viewed as a potential buying opportunity. Our weekly order block here, price trades down to it on Thursday during the ECB. What it actually did was trade into the weekly order block. Then makes a run for what? The buy side liquidity. All of these equal highs. Too much candy there not to want to take it. Price runs through it and then blasts off through it. It spreads rather quickly above these highs right here because there's going to be a lot of liquidity resting around these equal highs. So we have Monday and Tuesday's high is relatively equal. So it's like a triple or quadruple high. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lots of reasons to anticipate that as a run on liquidity. Price eventually expands and trades higher. And using this data, we made a power 3, which is opening, trading down for the week, picking up a weekly order block, buying there ahead of ECB when dollar's bearish, cable's bullish, euro dollar's bullish, price expands on the upside and starts doing what? Building its weekly range. All on the heels of ECB and the day after ECB. Okay, so we have all that phenomenon taking place, which when the markets are closely correlated, like euro pound, it's being held in consolidation. So that means euro dollar and British pound or cable, they're going to be allowed to trade in concert with one another. They're going to be allowed to trade the same direction. And we've seen that this week post ECB. Okay, so let's go back to cable. Okay, so cable from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday had successive lower lows. In the dollar index from Monday, we can see that it had a higher high on Monday, a higher high on Tuesday, but then look what happens on Thursday and Wednesday. We don't see that higher high forming, do we? So we have a massive divergence, and I'll draw it out for you like this. This is the divergence for SMT purposes for dollar to cable. Massive distribution seen in the dollar index. So we have Mondays trading higher, Tuesday trading higher, Wednesday, what? There's no higher high. Thursday is no higher high. But on cable, we can see that, in fact, from Monday to Thursday, we had lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. So all of this was a run in accumulating, buying more. Notice there's no rally here. It retraces, but there's no new rally of a higher high. Then we break down below this old low. Okay, we have a little bit of retracement, no real buying. It drops down again into the weekly order block. Then look what happens. Boop, there's a pop. There's a little blip in the radar screen. That cleans up this equal high, but that's not what they're really doing. They're accumulating long positions. Price drops again into the weekly order block, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 reference points where we can see now with an X-ray view, and the benefit of hindsight, of course, but we have accumulation occurring here. Then ECB comes into the marketplace, and then it takes off, explodes to the upside. So what we're seeing here is a massive accumulation at a key level that I teach in my content, order blocks, just apply to a weekly chart. And you can see the massive accumulation takes place with SMT. Lower lows, looks weak on cable, but there's a massive distribution cycle being seen here through the ICT SMT. So we see massive distribution on the dollar, and it was happening before we even got to the ECB numbers. It was already there, and here it was starting to show you. And then when it broke down, we've taken out a low here. Market structure break. So any run from this high to this low back up, optimal trade entry, sell off. Again, because it's ECB driven, European Central Bank, any retracements are going to be shallow, mainly going to consolidate and then break lower. Anytime a central bank is involved, do not expect like this type of movement where rally up, retrace, rally up, retrace, rally up, retrace, rally up, retrace. Don't expect that kind of move. Expect massive, sudden displacement or repricing. We didn't spend much time from here to get below this low here. Then we consolidated. Okay. Then what happened is folks that were looking at this old low here, they were giving them time to think that that was going to be support. If it's an old low that it moved up, classic support and resistance, because that's what some traders are teaching on Twitter now. It's not old lows like this that causes buys. Okay, this is just an area for them to start building up more positions. Long holders or new long holders thinking this is an old support, not likely. It holds around that level and then breaks harder again and reaches for the ultimate low, which we showed on the daily chart, which is back here. which completes the overall market maker sell model. Okay, so the ICT market maker sell model, there's several of them in here. We have a consolidation here with these candles. It leads to consolidation, reaccumulation, smart money reversal, distribution, redistribution, trades below the original consolidation. That's a fractal. Price is fractal. Okay, we have another one here. Consolidation, leaves it, returns back to consolidation, smart money reversal, low risk sell, back down below the original consolidation. If you go in lower time frames, you'll see these are exactly that. But these will nest out to create a larger fractal. Okay, and right in here, this is a bearish breaker. These two down closed candles ahead of this high being swept with this run here, your eye goes immediately to the down closed candles right there. Boom. See how easy that is? There is no necessity for understanding supposed supply and demand or other theories of price action. When you understand what you're reading with a chart, you can decipher what institutional order flow is. You can understand what levels have the orders and where there's distribution and accumulation. I'm focusing in with an X-ray view behind the candles. I'm not focusing on just the candles themselves or a pattern of certain candles making certain formations. That's not my interest. What I'm looking for is the general underlying context. What's the premise? Okay, what's the premise behind the market moves? Because if you can decipher what that is, you know what's going to happen before it happens. That's very exciting when you think about it. So we get back to that breaker here. It retrades back to the two down closed candles, hits that level's low, boom, hits it right in here. Expect a sell-off on $1 and ramp up in foreign currency, i.e. the euro dollar and the British pound. When price gets below this low here, then you got to look to start getting real ambitious about taking your profits, because this may be the end of it. Now, it doesn't mean I'm calling the low on the dollar. It just means that you want to be thinking about taking your demo profits there and start moving to the sideline. Or if you're going to want to hold for lower prices for dollar and long on foreign currency, leave a very small portion on at this point, because the market moves really probably 90% done. All right, so that is going to be it for cable. I want to go over the Australian dollar real quick. Okay, so here's the Aussie dollar. And again, this is by way of Forex Ltd's demo account, so there's going to be some candles missing. It's not going to change the underlying tone of what I want to describe here. But we have, again, very similar price pattern, just inverted. We have a consolidation here. Okay, this whole block of price action. Price leaves that consolidation once it leaves this low here, right there. Trades down and comes right back up, tries to retest the original consolidation. It does not need to do that, but that's what we look for a market maker buy model. We have distribution, redistribution, smart money, reversal. Okay, on a lower time frame in the form of like an hourly chart or whatever, you can see a low risk buy in here. Then price gives us another area of reaccumulation. And we missed the accumulation phase in here because of the holiday, but on trading view, you might get some better candle action in here, but I'm not going to really push that in here. Ultimately, we trade back above what? The original consolidation. So this market maker buy model is complete. Now, I outlined during the December teachings why this was a strong buy, and there was accumulation in here, and I actually taught SMT to you with this low in relationship to the dollar index. So we knew back in early December that this was going to be under accumulation, and we were outlining these highs up here, and price goes back up to that level, and it does it today on the 12th of January. So I know a lot of you see me doing day trading things, but a lot of the things that I teach are applicable to higher time frames. The problem is there's certain things that you have to look for in a specific process and or order of things that I teach in a mentorship that helps you along the way. Sometimes certain things will jump off the charts for you on a higher time frame, and it'll just make sense to you. Other times it won't be so clear, and that's the benefit of being in my private mentorship, because there's a lot of experience that goes into what I share and what I will be sharing in future teachings and years go ahead. But you won't get that from free tutorials because I'm never making any more free tutorials that's going to amplify anything that's already there. Okay. So I want to talk about dollar CAD real quick, dollar yen. So let's go over to CAD. Okay, so now we're looking at the dollar CAD. I'm just going to go right to the hourly chart just to save time because this video is getting actually very long. I know you guys don't have a lot of time to be spending with me. You got the weekend upon you. But let's put the daily dividers in here. And again, I'll take your attention back to the idea of that dollar index. So we know that the dollar index was giving us a massive distribution, okay, on Thursday ahead of ECB. So from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, heavy distribution. At the same time, dollar CAD, from the standpoint of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, yes, it's rallying, but it's only really rallying to clear up an old high, rejection, and then we have distribution as a end result. So it's very difficult for this pair to rally when its dollar is weak. It takes a rather impressive or significant price move in the Canadian dollar to cause, when the situation like we're having now with the dollar index trading lower, this pair would have to see some dynamic price action in the underlining of the Canadian dollar futures. Okay, and that type of movement would kind of like break the correlation between, and it can happen sometimes, especially when it relates to like oil. Like if oil has a big move, this pair, while it's relatively easy to trade, there's going to be times where it can mess you up because of the influence of oil. Okay, the price of oil can cause this market to go all kinds of, different directions, and it many times will fly in the face of what was seen in the dollar index. So just understand, just because the dollar index is going one way doesn't always translate in the dollar CAD doing its own thing as well. All right, so I'm going to look at the dollar yen, and then we'll be done with the Forex LTD version of it. All right, so we're looking at the dollar yen. This is an hourly chart. I went right to the brass tacks with this one. I want to just show you a ICT bearish breaker. Have a high, price runs up, creates a higher high. Once it breaks down the low here, your eye goes right to the down close candle. If it trades back to that, that's where you look to sell. Sells off, comes back up to an area of mitigation, sells off, an area of optimal trade entry. Okay, so you have an optimal trade entry here. Now, I personally can't stand the yen. I know some of you do very well trading it using my concepts. I just don't like it. Okay, beautiful 70.5 sweet spot. Boom, sells off, aggressive price move, and bingo, look at that. How sweet is that? How lovely. Very, very nice. And we had a nice little high here on Thursday ahead of the ECB numbers as well in the London session. Sold off, and then so we have another little high in here, rally back up. Could potentially see it trade lower, but it might need to do it right away. I think if we open and gap down on dollar index, that might be the same scenario we see for dollar yen. It may gap lower on Sunday, so we'll see. But certainly it wants to reach significantly lower on the higher time frames. If we go out to a 4-hour chart, we have this low here still that it's untested at 110.87. So we have a little bit of a movement there, and if we draw out a little bit more and get some more price action in here, might need to go out to a daily. This is good. We have this low here, so we could potentially see that low around 109.50, 109.60 in that area. And then we have, who knows where we're going to go. It depends on what the dollar index is going to do. But we may just as easily come down to this low here, reject, and create some kind of reversal or the mean threshold of this overall consolidation. Once we leave the range, may need to come all the way back up, which is incidentally right where these lows would be. So we could see it come out all the way after this low here is violated. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back up to that level here and then sells off for a later time. So again, I don't like yen, but that's one scenario I'd probably anticipate seeing. And that's going to be it for the Forex LTD version of what we're talking about. I'm going to go over to Daily FX real quick and show you some things on those charts that I was tweeting. All right, so this is the euro dollar ahead of the ECB. You can see the old daily high delineated here, 120.91. And price shoots up in response to the ECB monetary minutes, runs through at 120.20. And I said on Twitter, I said I want to watch to see if there's any sign of rejection. If there isn't, they're going to be looking for a run to 120.50 and layered liquidity up to 120.80, which clears these equal highs essentially, and then puts us in contention for the 121 big figure and blowing out the old high on the daily chart. Ultimately, price rallies through. Notice what's going on. Is there any retracements? No. Very, very small little consolidation. And then ultimately, we get the optimal trade entry right there. Right there at 120, 120.40. Retrades right back down into the bullish order block, which is these last candles, or down close candles ahead of the move up. That is where we'll be looking to buy at a nice round 10 level at 120.40. Boom. Then we get another little spike in here. Small consolidation. Again, no retracements, just consolidation. And here. And we'll be looking for another optimal trade entry long. And you can see ultimately where we traded to. And it just fell short of the 122.20 level in here. Really, really nice price action movement on the heels of an ECB setup. And on the cable, we can see that weekly order block idea and a run an old low right in here ahead of the ECB monetary minutes, and then nice acceleration on the upside, clearing out the buy side and getting in sync with the higher time frame weekly. So I said I'd mentioned the Bitcoin market. So let's go over to Bitcoin. Okay, and we'll zoom out. And we'll use an hourly chart. All right, so you can see from the high I called back here at 119,700 or something, whatever it was, the time I was talking about on Twitter. You guys can go back and look at that. The Bitcoin market's had a real hard time trying to find legs to get back up there. We made an attempt, a really nice attempt to get above here. Okay, relatively equal highs. They cleared those out. Couldn't get above 17,500. Equal highs have been left. We traded back down. Ultimately, if you look at what we have, looks like a market maker sell model that still has yet to complete. We have a consolidation in here, reaccumulation, smart money reversal, low risk sell, distribution, redistribution, another area of distribution in here. And we came down almost to clear out this original consolidation. I think we may be looking to see it sell off one more time. I know that the dollar index is weak, but my gut tells me Bitcoin's going lower, only because I think that everyone's still hoping with hold on for dear life for 20,000. Okay, and some folks that bought above 18,000 in here, anywhere in here, they're just trying to get back to 18,000. They don't even care if it gets to 20. They just want to get out of it because they regret getting into it. And I know it's a market that everyone loves right now because it's been real volatile. But I think personally, there's a lot of folks that just want to get out of it and leave it and any rally is going to allow that to happen. And I think that's what they're punishing. They just don't want that to happen. They're going to keep taking prices lower, and any rally is being faded. So I'll be looking for Bitcoin to go below this original consolidation here prior to this run up, and we'll see. It might be a rather dynamic distribution cycle, kind of like this one over here is what I'm looking for, and get below that 10,000 level. Ultimately, again, I think that we would probably see we get below 10,000, specifically below 12,000. It should accelerate below 10, and we could see it go to 8,000. To me personally, I would take it, if I'm going to take it longer term higher, I would take it all the way down to 5,000 and scare the shit out of everyone. No one would want to hold on to it at 5,000. They're not going to want to. They're not going to hold it to. They're not holding it there. They're going to squeal like pigs. Getting slaughtered at 10,000 or 12,000. In that area, they're going to feel like it's the end of the world. And especially if it really reprices quickly to 8,000 and below 6,000, it hit these equal lows. And watch what happens. These equal lows line up beautifully with this old high, which really didn't get tested here. It was a little bit higher. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. You can see that this high really didn't get retested, but it would be beautifully retested at 5,000. It might bounce at 5,000, give us a nice little move to 10,000, maybe up to 12. Okay, but even then, I still would be leery of it running to 20,000 on the heels of just going to 5,000. It might need to punish folks a little bit longer term. Okay, again, this is my opinion. That's what I would do if I was the market maker for this cryptocurrency. I'm personally not, obviously, but that's what I would do. Okay, that's what I see in the near future for Bitcoin. All right, kind of like what we just described. I think 120 could see a retest. We could see a distribution again, take us down to that level. If we lose 120, we're going back down to 60 cents. And I know that probably doesn't sound good for most of you guys, and you probably laugh and think it ain't never going to happen. It might not ever happen, but personally, again, if I was a market maker for this one, we have an original consolidation in here, reaccumulation, smart money reversal, low risk sell, which we outlined. I showed you all that stuff, and we broke down to we're in an area where another area of distribution should come in. If it does, it's going to take us below the original consolidation over here, which is going to be below 80 cents at 60 cents, which would clear up all these equal lows in here, formed around the 18th, between the 18th and 25th of December. And that's what I'm expecting. So if you're holding on to this, good luck to you guys. But, I have no skin in the race for anything in crypto, but I did say I was going to share that opinion or commentary. So I kind of want to talk about the mentorship now. So everything about charting is done, so you can turn the video off if you're not interested in mentorship. But I want to talk about that and how you can go forward, because a lot of people are trying to get into it right now. All right, so everyone that signed up for the information about the ICT mentorship, I had a lot of folks actually sign up for it. Unfortunately, a lot of my current members, out of the 660 some members that completed the initial class of my ICT mentorship, they have been anxious. Number one, some of them were against me having my change of mind about opening up the mentorship because there was individuals selling it, and I didn't want to do another mentorship. I really didn't want to do it, but it creates a demand for people that are trying to sell it, that I don't get those proceeds, I don't get the credit for it, and it's basically just ripping me off. So I know that people would rather learn it from me because I have much more value. You're buying something from someone else that you don't know has all the material. Most of them that are really selling it don't have it all. Now, I gave the outline of what's available, and that way you know if you've been rooked already, this is what you should have got if you got ripped off and you paid for it outside of me supplying it to you. That's not the mentorship. Okay, the mentorship is an ongoing membership. There will be things that are taught that will never be discussed in YouTube videos. It's not going to be talked about on my free tutorial section in my free website or whatever forum. because I actively have two forums. One's for private membership and the mentorship, and then I have a free membership where everyone's invited to go. I host all my YouTube videos there and my old tutorials, and I'll be back there with daily YouTube videos for free member content level understanding. And it'll just basically be, ad content driven for YouTube. So the folks that are in the mentorship that pay for the 12 months, they're part of my basically inner circle where anything I want to talk about, I'm comfortable with talking about it with these individuals because they know my core content. They're in a private membership, and the idea is you're not sharing with everyone, and you really are discounting really the value in it. If you paid to be in this, why on God's green earth would you ever want to share it with anyone? It's just stupid to do so. This content is so unique. I honestly think back to the day I sat in front of Baby Pips, looking at that forum, laughing to myself, saying, everybody on here is clueless. You have no idea what they're talking about. From the people that made the Baby Pip school all the way through to the members that are in the forums. All of them have no idea what they're talking about because they were attributing all of their success, and I'm holding my fingers up in quotations, to something that they had in their chart of an indicator or a methodology. And none of that really had anything to do with it. It just happens that the market happened to be in an area of accumulation or distribution, and they just happened to be on the right side at that time. So in a lot of ways, that way of viewing it, or by way of retail, it has a lot to do with luck. I don't have luck. I don't look for luck. There's no way for me to say I'm going to be lucky on this one or not lucky on that one. So I don't like that thought process. So I make facetious statements a lot about luck, but I really don't believe in it. I have a lot of faith in what I teach, and the things that I teach in the mentorship and ongoing will be things you haven't seen before. They're not in books. You have given a lot of things out, and I honestly wish I could go back in time and dial back how much I gave out. I believe that I gave way too many things, and a lot of folks have now, they've monetized them, tried to relabel the names and all that other stuff, the things they accuse me of. But anyone that has any time to sit down and look at the things I'm accused of, taking this and taking that and relabeling it, it's nowhere near the same thing. It might look like it when you at first glance, when you see rectangles on my charts, right away it might be supply and demand. Nope. I cut through candles. I have specific levels, and I look for context. I don't look for just fresh levels. Okay. What they're teaching is support and resistance in the form of not a support and resistance level, but a zone. They've actually complicated support and resistance. It's kind of stupid in my mind, but I know how to look for specific price levels and the overall understanding of institutional order flow. And it's not with depth of market and ladders and footprint and market profiles. I have market profiles, but it's not profiles like you think it is. I have like roadmaps of what price action should do. The folks that have gone through the mentorship know exactly what I mean by that, because if you look at what happened in this week's trading for euro and cable, there is a specific template that I gave for the weekly profiles that this one unfolds exactly like they were shown last couple months ago when I was going through those portions of the teachings. A lot of that stuff I don't want public, and my concern is the folks that are coming in, you're so excited, and I see that. And I personally am slowing the process because I need you all to understand these concepts are mine. They're my babies. They're creations by my blood, sweat, and tears, and anxiety attacks, rushing to the emergency room, broken relationships, all those things. Okay. And honestly, your $1,800 doesn't mean shit to me in relationship to all the things I've gone through to learn these things. The pressure that was placed on me to be, able to retain this stuff, it was a lot. So I know some of you are struggling, okay? And from your perspective, $1,800 is a lot of money because you're coming from a different walk of life than I'm presently living right now. I am not alien to that. I came from a very modest upbringing, and believe me, $1,800 back then for me would have been just as monumentous than what I view now. It would be completely starkly contrast from what I see it now. But I'm giving you my perspective because I understand the value of what I have and what I'm sharing. You are paying peanuts for things that you would never in your life come in contact with learning or even know anyone that knows this stuff, because it's completely and utterly unique. There's nothing like what I teach. Zero. Now, the bulk of the audience that's listening to me right now, just about most of you really on my Twitter account, I know there's some of you that will never buy anything, and that's cool, and some of you really aren't interested in what I'm giving away. You just want to hear me talk about something so you can, joke about it with your friends on Twitter or whatever, and that's cool. But the bulk of the ones that are really engaged in my content, just about all of you really requested to be in the mentorship, which I expected some response, but I wasn't expecting this much of a response. So we really drum up a lot of interest, I guess, with all the examples and daily, well, showing you what's going to happen and showing it to you with examples where the entries are being shown, the managed stops, the partials on the demo profits, all that stuff. You've seen many examples of it and consistency. I want you to know going in that just because you're in the mentorship, it doesn't happen like overnight you're going to do that type of stuff. Okay, there's a lot of people in my mentorship that still are learning. Okay, and some of them are inundated with the amount of information they got. I do not want you to think that you have to learn this stuff real quick. And a lot of you are so gung-ho, and I smile when I see your excitement in Twitter, but I'm also cringing because I know those same individuals are the ones that started complaining in the mentorship that they didn't get it right away. They felt that just because they were in it for 6 months or 8 months, I should be profitable by now. I don't promise you profitability. I promise you a greater understanding of price action. You will eventually see setups before they form. You'll anticipate them, and you will know what price will likely do by the medium of a demo account. Now, if you see dollar signs behind that, you've done that on your own. I don't want you to think like that. I want you to think about this as a close-knit community that has the goal of having a like-minded perspective on price action that's not limited to just Forex, but other asset classes, and that your development is the real goal, and you're trying to have a unique approach to deciphering what price action is going to do for you and yourself. And in some time in the future where I don't ever tell you to do this, but you'll come to a conclusion that you've done enough demoing. So you're going to want to do live trading. I am never there telling you that. I'm never going to be the one that says, okay, go into live trading now. Okay, I don't do that. In fact, you're going to hear me complain about people taking live trades in the mentorship when they were told explicitly not to do it. Okay. So I really want to draw a strong contrast to what I'm seeing and hearing by way of email and texts and not text, but direct messages from Twitter. There's a lot of excitement right now and impatience. And I need you all to understand that you're coming into my house. Okay. These are things that are near and dear to me. And you just think it's bells and whistles and chart patterns, and it's not. It means a whole lot to me. And when you join the mentorship, there are times where I give you these, well, hard on the sleeve type discussions. And because I want people to appreciate what I'm doing. Okay, you're putting a price tag in $1,800, and that's all it means to you. I gave you $1,800. Give me secrets. That's really what you're asking for, most of you. I'm telling you that you are adopting my kids for $1,800, and I'm trusting my kids to you. And I'm hoping that you keep that in mind, because some of you have, I'm sure, nefarious reasons for wanting to join. You have probably no intentions of going through the content and learn it. You know that this sells because I'm a big draw. And if you can get online and say, you know, I have ICT content, I have it all, you know, I'll sell it to you half price. Well, eventually, like I found out early on in the beginning of the mentorship, there was somebody trying to do that, and he was ratted out. And I threw them out too. So believe me, there's no honor among thieves. Eventually, the people that do that type of stuff, it's exposed and it comes out, okay? Because greed is exponential. You know, you think you're going to get away with doing something, you know, slick like that, and in fact, you end up getting exposed, and everybody knows about it. So I want people that are going to be sincere. And just because you're willing to spend the money on the mentorship and be a part of the membership doesn't necessarily mean that you're a good fit. Not for you being in my group or me as your mentor. I am going to put you through a lot of things that's going to feel unprofitable in terms of your study. 90% of the live sessions are going to feel like that. Okay, they're going to feel like, well, this is a waste of time. There was no real outcome, and or the setups didn't pan out, or I was wrong, or you know, it just doesn't feel like what you should be expecting to see. And that's the number one complaint that takes place for those individuals that have gone through it, because they wanted to see setups. They wanted to see what I showed everyone for free on Twitter. That type of consistency, the type of over and over and over again of exits and entries and profitable demo account trades, showing the execution and process behind it. Just for scalping, though, there was none of those one shot, one kill, nothing like that. The content is so vast that I can't do everything in 12 months. I can't do one shot, one kill, scalps, position trading, swing trading, short-term trading. I can't do all of those things and still keep the content moving, teaching, and filling in gaps when I see paramount type level questions where I need to make sure that people are kind of like close to one another in terms of their understanding, but we didn't finish that way. There's a lot of people that have a lot of high expectations still that feel that it wasn't delivered. Okay, and I can appreciate that, and I can understand what they're thinking and feeling. But we also have to remind ourselves that this is not a 12-month program and it stops. Everyone knew that once you join and once you pay, you have a private connection to me, and I will be delivering ongoing teachings. I'm excited to get to the new content. I want to do that. But for it to be of any significance to you or assistance in your understanding about price action, everyone has to have a core understanding. And a lot of that has to do with the tutorials, but the things in the tutorials that mean the most that you need to be able to pull out, I condensed all that stuff in the mentorship. Now, for people that want to have new bells and whistles, they will say, well, you're just watching tutorials all over again. No, you're not. Okay, there's so many things that I went into greater detail with the content, and it allows me foundation to build on with future content and teachings. I can direct you back to go to this lesson on this particular module, study this, because now I'm going to build on that idea. For instance, IPTA data ranges. Big sticking point in mentorship. Really big sticking point. Folks had a hard time digesting that, and it really is simply a way of determining what type of trade should be forming next and how much of a time frame will it require for it to form. It's simple as that. It's nothing more than that, but it gives you a framework to build context around the setups, okay? And define a specific range. When I taught trading inside the range, the question always came up is, what's the range? Well, the data ranges provide that. And there's other things that I could have easily rung in and really confused everybody, but they don't have any place in anyone's curriculum without first having all these things first understood. And it's a lot of content. I mean, some of you haven't even seen Sniper Series yet. And there's things about order blocks and stuff in that teaching, bonds and stuff and all those things. But you're all in a hurry, and you honestly haven't gone through the stuff that I've already given you just with the Christmas content. Those teachings, you can go through them again, and I guarantee you're going to find things that you didn't see the first time. That's why it's important to watch my videos, not like you're watching Netflix, Okay, you need to have a notepad in hand, block out sound, don't listen to anybody else or watch TV, no kids in the room with you. You just simply put yourself in a position where you can learn. Because I guarantee you, if you're just watching it just for the sake of burning time, you're not learning anything with that. You're wasting your time. And if you do that with the mentorship, I'm telling you, you're going to feel like I'm not learning anything and this is a lot of information, and you're going to talk yourself right out of the mentorship. I'm telling you that's what's going to happen because that's exactly what the folks did. And I'm also telling you, these individuals are now emailing me, okay? And they all have my phone number. They're either texting me or trying to call me, leaving voicemails because they all want to come back in right now. Not all of them, but a lot of them that left are all feeling rather stupid right now because they didn't believe me. I told them if you don't stick with it, you will not be allowed to come back in. If you don't trust me, and I ask everyone every single month before we transition into the next module, you'll hear all this stuff in the videos. You are welcome to leave at any time. But when you leave, you're gone. There is no, you're welcome back in my house. No. I wish you good luck, good trading. Take care. But we're only on the free membership level. That's it. So it's not that I don't like you or don't have any respect for you. It's just, it's a business thing. I can't allow anyone to come back in. And the reason why is because if you left the first time, your heart wasn't really in it. And I made sure everyone understood that I was 100% adamant about not letting anyone come back in because I don't want dabblers. I don't want that. It's offensive to me that someone would not give it the full respect that it's warranted. I mean, there's so many things that honestly, it doesn't make a difference because you're not going to believe me. Okay. Nothing I'm going to be able to say to you is going to kind of like bridge that gap because there's a few of you, I'm sure, that didn't sign up for it. You don't want information. You just don't care. You just want to give me free videos, Michael. That's the only thing I'm ever going to do. And that's fine. You can learn things. You'll learn things from the free tutorials, and you'll learn a whole lot more than anybody else is going to teach you in any other course. And there is no one out there that will teach you the level of content my free tutorials give you. But there ain't nothing like what's going to be in the mentorship. So, and I mean that from everyone I know and the big names everybody likes out there, they don't come close to this. It's simply ridiculous how much precision there is, how much just foresight and things that you can anticipate. It's ridiculous. But you have to know certain things and grow real accustomed to how they work. And then I bring in advanced concepts of time and price, and it goes to the next level where it's just like you ain't worried about it. You'll be able to do things with price action that is going to look like wizardry to anyone else that could be seeing what you're doing. And that's what I tell people in the mentorship. And I know you're probably saying, get to it, Michael. Get to it. Tell me how to progress into the next thing so we can get into it. I need to talk. I need to get this off my chest. So this is what the mentorship's like too. Because 98% of the things that you need to know about trading has nothing to do with a chart. It's the way you think. And I spend a lot of time like that in the live sessions because that's what I needed. And if I would have had this when I was developing trader, I would have not lost the fortunes that I lost over the years trying to become good from books and courses and DVDs and things that everyone else does. I got insight from real money losses that people would throw their guts up. Okay. I learned a lot from trying to have faith in things that have absolutely no basis on why price is going to move. And a ton of losses. So I'm sparing you all of that by keeping you in a demo, telling you also after you finish the mentorship, you should be a minimum of 6 to 12 months in demo before you even mentioned the idea of I might do a live account because to do so is stupid. It's premature. All of you are in a hurry to see yourself become profitable and making money. And you can't think that way as much as you feel like you should be feeling that. That's not how you do this. You have to really be detached emotionally from the money. Not only the payments that are required to learn this stuff, but you got to treat it like a college course. And I mean that, because it really is a lot of content. It's a lot of stuff to know, it's a lot of stuff to study. And while at the end you may not require all of it to make your unique trading model, you need to know all of it to get to where you're going to be as a unique thinker, independent thinker that makes their decisions without me holding your hand. The folks that have gone through the mentorship, that have done everything they're supposed to do and now have their own unique trading model, they did that on their own. And they do not send me emails, texts, tweets, direct messages asking me what do I think about that trade. They just share it with me. And this is what it was, with a smiley face, or how about this, or simply a thank you so much. My life has completely changed because of this experience with you, and I am never going to worry about needing to do anything else and buy anything else anymore, because I understand what price is doing. That's what they were able to accomplish. See, you don't see all the things that I hear and receive in email. Okay, I don't get permission by everyone to share all this stuff. I always encourage them to do it openly, but people just see what goes on Twitter, and they don't believe me when I show it. Before the fact, I talk about what's going to happen. It goes right to the pip, or it goes right to the point now in crypto, and they deny it. So why should I bother? And why should they bother? Because it's not going to convince anyone. So I know that. So I went online between August and now and showed off this short-term intraday scalping stuff. That's all I did. And that's just a small little piece of it. That's something you can do on the fly. People at work can do that. You don't need to be home in front of your computer all day long day trading. Certain times of the day, certain things occur. It's going to go a specific direction. It's going to go to a specific level. It's going to trade there a specific way. That's what I teach. I follow an outline that gets me very close to an algorithmic price model where I can see what price is going to do before it does it. Now, that's my personal belief. Whether you choose to believe that's true or not, just go back and look at what I've done in the past. Before it happens, I outline it. I'm showing you to a degree of precision that I personally am actively looking for as a comparable educator or comparable analyst or trader, and I don't see it. And it sounds very egotistical when I say that, but it's true. Look around. There's a lot of good traders out there, and they make good setups and they make good money. And some of them actually show real live account history, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. I have a lot of props and kudos to those individuals that do that. But I'm outlining it to a degree where you know why it's going to do it, when it's going to do it, and it does it. And I'm not showing a whole lot of instances where I'm wrong. That's the contrast I'm trying to draw. Now, I'm not trying to promote the idea that the mentorship teaches you 99 or 100% accuracy, because I'm not neither one of those. There's a lot of times that I'll look at a chart, and if a gun is to my head, and I use this expression a lot, if a gun's placed to my head, what would I do right now? Well, good grief. I'd rather not be in that situation. If I got to have a gun placed in my head to make a decision, that's like 90% of the time in trading. Traders put themselves in that situation. And only thing that will happen if you go on this mentorship and if you've not grounded yourself emotionally and psychologically, all I'm going to provide you is more reasons to do something when you shouldn't do it. So when you go through this mentorship, the things that I'm doing, like right now, talking about how you should think, the things you should do, how you should act and conduct yourself as a developing trader, the things you should be focusing on, all of those things are worth their weight in gold. But the people that are upset, they're looking at that and saying, I should be given trades. I should be given setups where I can piggyback that and do something that with a live account. That's not what you should be doing. And if you think that way right now, and more specifically, if you're the person right now listening saying, oh, good grief, shut up, ICT, and get on with it, please don't join my mentorship, because I'm going to be doing this a lot in videos, 500 plus videos of this. And the future content is going to be much of the same thing, because you're paying me to coach you in developing a process of thinking and conducting yourself that leads to the most optimal level of understanding and development with price action. What you do when you don't do it is paramount. Things that you should know that keeps you out of the marketplace. Practicing in a demo account in times when there's really no reason to do it, that's actually much more profitable than just teaching setups and give me buy signals and sell signals, which I don't do. The idea of getting in this mentorship and overnight you're going to transform into something totally different, that's not what I want you to have. This is going to require years. And I know that's not what you want to hear, but I want you to be aware that that's the time frame. It's going to take you years to get good at this. There's 12 months of core content that's taught in the mentorship, that's what you pay for. After that, you've paid your way into, and I'll say it like this, you've paid for my respect in exchange for my time, because I'm going to be giving you a lot of time beyond 12 months. Those videos are already pre-recorded. I'm not doing any more videos that the new class is paying for. You don't have access to live sessions because I'm not doing that. I'm going to be trading my own accounts live in 2018. And I want to have the luxury of being back to do that, because for the last year or so, I've been unable to do that. I've been unable to trade live because my time has been consumed with being a teacher. And you think it's just do a video and I'm done. I can go out and watch movies with my kids, and you'll hear it in the mentorship. I'm exhausted. I have no time for anything. Okay, so I really want you to understand what I had to put myself through to deliver all of basically 7 years of content inside of 12 months. When you go through this content, you're going to be encouraged to go through it multiple times. That's again why 2018 is not a completely overload of new content. It's just 12 individual trading models that I'm going to provide, one per month, and it's always the last day of the month. You will not have access to that until you complete and pay and provide satisfaction for all the content for the 12 initial modules. When that happens, then all of your accounts will be changed so that way it allows you to have one model per month. You'll get one per month. Once you finish that, you're caught up with the group, and in 2019, you will be one module at a time, one trading model at a time. That way it forces you to go through the same process the first class is. Then and only then will you be caught up with the first class in terms of the content. But they will have access to things that you won't have access to. Now, I'm doing it like this because I know people have friends. And some of you want to join up and get the content, get the trading plans, and call it even, or share it with people, or sell it with people. Okay, that's not what I'm allowing. In other words, you have access to things that the first class have already gone through. Okay, but you're never going to be in an area where you can like move dynamically with one another. In other words, you're not going to see active posts by the first class because they're going to be seeing things that's ahead of your learning curve. And I have to conduct it that way. And the people that join in 2019, they're going to go through the same process. They're just going to be a year behind. And it's going to be an ongoing process like that, because I do not want content that will be several years ahead made available to people to just sign up. So I really want you to understand what you're getting into. You will not have the ability to have shortcuts. You are going to be put through the same process, and it's only fair and it's for your benefit. The same methodology I'm using for the first class, you will be enduring that same thing. I don't care how smart you think you are. I don't care any PhDs or you're really good already at trading. I don't care. These are the way of the process is going to be. This is my methodology. I don't care how you feel I should teach it. I'm the one that has the experience in doing it, not just the last year doing it. I've been teaching for a long, long time. And this isn't my first rodeo, and it won't be the second rodeo either for the 2018 group. The folks that trust the process, submit to the process, the things that I put you through, I guarantee you will have a greater understanding in price action than anything else out there would give you. And that means a person, a mentor, a program, a prop shop. I don't care who it is. You will not get this information anywhere else. It's as simple as that. Now, you've seen me call daily highs and lows, weekly highs and lows. You saw me call moves that were in currencies that I don't touch, like Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies like Ripple. I called the highs in Ripple and Bitcoin. I've also told you where it was going to go, and it's done that. I want you to know that the things I teach are not limited to any one particular asset class. I go through a primer for all the other asset classes, but you'll learn much more about every one of those asset classes as we go further in the studies. There's a lot of things that, like I said, I held back because there's people coming in, quitting. I'm not giving you all my best stuff. And the people that go through the first 12 months, if you think that's it and you think it's a lot, you have seen nothing yet. Once you complete those first 12, it's over as far as what you got to pay for, but your learning really starts kicking in because now you have to study everything you went through on your own. And that's expensive because you need to immerse yourself in the things that you've learned and start trying to build a model. Then you'll have the access to one trading model per month, and it'll give you a guideline like the 2017 class is having, starting this month, the last day of this month in January. They're going to have their first trading model, and they'll see what I do to go through building that model. And that way it'll provide you a way of saying, okay, I see what he did there. I may not understand entirely what I should do the next month. I will do it again with a different style of trading using what's taught in the core content. I'm not teaching any new concepts per se in 2018. I'm giving the content in a user-friendly. I use this at this point for the analysis. I look for this concept to be applicable for right now, and it's a process that leads you to an overall understanding of what to use, when to use it. Okay, and not everything in the mentorship core content will be used. It's not necessary, but there's certain things that's going to be necessary for certain levels of the overall analysis or top-down analysis. Certain things we look for are important at certain times and not important at others. So I say all this to say that it's important for you to know that what you are about to embark on is heavy. Okay, it's a lot of stuff. And there's going to be so many times where your head's going to be spinning and it's going to feel like you are absolutely lost. It's going to feel like you understand it and you're going to get excited, and then all of a sudden I'm going to hit you with something else, and I'm going to twist some things and give you a different perspective on other things, and it's going to feel like you just hit a brick wall. That is normal. It's normal because now you hit another plateau and you have to churn through that to get a greater understanding, and then boom, you have another springboard of understanding. You're going to have that feeling of King Kong. I understand the markets. I know what I'm doing. And then you're going to hit another plateau when I hit you with more information and a greater depth of understanding about what you thought you learned in the tutorials. So when that occurs, it conditions you to always be trying to get deeper in your understanding about what price is doing. If you just want to be an indicator guy, or you want me to give you my MT4 indicators, okay, and you think that's going to work for you in terms of making profitable decisions, I'm telling you right now that doesn't work. I'm getting loads of emails right now. Hey, ICT, can I just get your ICT indicators? I don't have the money for the mentorship. Can I just have your indicators? No, no, because I already know that it isn't going to do you any good. You're going to use them wrong. Okay, you're going to use them wrong. And I tell everyone to do it by hand. You'll hear me say it in the mentorship. You should be doing this by hand. And I mentioned that openly with the Christmas teachings. I said that, people always ask for my tools. The tools just help me do the videos real quick. I don't rely on those. I draw my things out by hand. If you watch my videos, I do it all by hand 90% of the time anyway, and I have access to these things. I want you to understand it intimately. So the Asian range, when you see those types of things, central bank dealers range, all those things should be drawn out by hand. And if you feel like you got to have all these bells and whistles and tools to make you feel smarter, or you just don't have that much time, then you probably shouldn't be a trader. I mean, that's really what it boils down to, because you're trying to place your faith in something outside of your understanding. I don't need indicators. I don't need these little tools and things. I can draw up a chart and put things on it you haven't even seen yet. And You're going to want to see it on your chart because I share it. But it doesn't make a difference whether it's on your chart or not if you don't understand how to use it and why it's important. Certain days, Asian range isn't important. And that's going to be like, what? That didn't, and I'll say it again. Certain days, Asian range is not important. Well, wait a minute. I wasn't prepared for that, ICT. Right. You won't appreciate that statement until a couple years into the mentorship. There's certain things where the high isn't going to be formed with a Judas swing like you think it will. Well, one of those, you have lots of learning to get to before that happens. You will know certain things are going to most likely happen because of experience doing things that you are not going to want to do or endure during the first couple years of the mentorship. See, you didn't get into this to be a profitable trader overnight and quit your job in 30 days. Okay. And I'm not guaranteeing you're going to quit your job. In fact, I'm telling you, you should hold on to that job. And I talk about this in the mentorship because there's people that have really strong interest in when should I do this and when should I do that. And I gave hypothetical examples of what it would be like if I could go back in time. And I'm talking about me, not you. I'm putting myself back in time. If I could go back in time, what would I do differently? Well, I would do this, this, and this. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the same thing for you or it's best for you. But I answer these inquiries and I give them as models. Okay. So there's a lot of things that I'm going to touch on that are outside the scope of trading. Wealth building ideas that rich people do that you don't get taught in school. How to build credit, how to use that credit, and real estate investing. I talk about things that build those ideas up too. And there's a lot of things I want to do in future years where I actually want to go through the whole process of showing you what is involved when you buy a real estate property. And one, do it as a rehab and flip it. And then there's another one for buying and holding it and using it as rental income and tax lien certificates. There's so many things that, my interest over the years in making money, I want to share all those things with you. And it may not be of any interest to you, and I understand that. But the bulk of what you go into is all price action based. But there's so many things that I am making these recordings for. Again, you're paying for my time and access to it. But in reality, I'm creating a life encyclopedia for my children and their children. So I'm only inviting you into my home. You're paying for my time and the seat to be a part of it. But when I'm talking, I'm not thinking of Rick or Jeff or Linda. Okay. I'm not thinking about people that are actually in the mentorship. I'm thinking about my sons, my daughter, and their future children because that's what I'm leaving this back. I'm putting this ahead in future. Okay. Kind of like the movie My Life. Think about it like that. Michael Keaton movie. He was terminal. He's going to die. God forbid I'm in anything like that, but anything can happen, folks. And because I don't have a resource to say, okay, here, learn it from here, and then I could just be done with it, I want my children to have access to these things. So that's why I'm really doing it. I don't need your $1,800 to be quite honest with you. I don't work. I don't need to do it. I live very comfortably, and I just think, if I'm going to be doing this and you're going to be in it, and people already sold my free tutorials, I needed to incorporate myself so I can protect myself from people doing that. I have trademarks that are under patent right now, and once they're done, then I'll be putting things in books. It's because I want it documented. These are mine. Okay, people can say all the things they want to say, but I have put a lot of concepts out that were otherwise not known. And I have so many fucking things that you have never seen before that literally will blow your mind. It's unbelievable. That's why I laugh at most of these people online when they think they got it all, or they figured it out, or they don't really appreciate what's being shared. You have no idea what you're thinking in terms of knowing me. You don't know me. You don't know anything about me. And I'm telling you, there's so much you can do with the open, high, low, and close. It's disgustingly crazy, insane amount of clarity. It's ridiculous. It really is a science. And had I never been involved in computer programming, I never would have thought about it like this. I would just taking it at face value from a retail standpoint and never, ever seen it like this. I'm so thankful that I had that background. And it was obviously something I did from an early age, because in 6th grade I was making computer programs and my own video games back then. So you hear a lot of this stuff, and if this is like boring you, don't join the mentorship, because these are the things I talk about while price is ticking away on the chart and we're waiting for a scenario to happen or whatever. I'm giving you all of the things that led me to me understanding what I know now. Because think about it, every day I'm doing a live session. You're going to see a recording every single day, except for there was a period I think I was sick for a couple of days and I lost my voice. I forgot to mention this in my product description, so I just had a note written down. I just remember by looking at it. There's a time in that mentorship where I got sick. I got really sick, and I did recordings without my voice, so that way and there's going to be a time when I try to do more talking, and it sounds terrible. Like it's going to be funny probably to listen to me talk like that, but I force myself to be with everyone every single day and give you something to take away in terms of development, what to focus on, and they don't always have a quote unquote profitable outcome in terms of what you see in price, because I'm really trying to mold your perception and your thinking about why you should be doing this at all anyway. Because it's so much of a rush. Like right now, you're saying, come on, get with it, and you're probably trying to scrub the video quicker, see if I'm going to be talking about how to make the payments and all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Now you're back at this same spot because you didn't hear it yet. The concept of preparing your mind for this lifestyle, number one, because you don't think about it because you've never done it. But there's a lot of things that go along with not being at a job. A lot of people don't handle it well. You think it will, like it's great. I'm going to sit home and do a couple trades and maybe go to movies or hang out with my kids or whatever. It doesn't work like that. There's things that you don't really expect to happen until it occurs. And I do a lot of those types of discussions and how to prepare yourself for this lifestyle. And it's something of a shock, for most people. A lot of people actually try it, and even though they can be successful, they want to stay working or go back to working because it's too much free time, way too much free time, and that's a good problem to have. But I just wanted to have an opportunity to get a couple things off my chest. The main thing was to revisit the idea of why you're even trying to join the mentorship, okay? And what my expectations are as the teacher, because I don't want just anybody in here. I could literally be collecting hundreds of thousands of dollars within days. As soon as I give the payment instructions, the money's going to start pouring into my PayPal account like it did the last time, but it's going to be more so than the first time. I already know what's going to happen. Okay, I'm not in a rush to take your money. I am in a slow process to that way. I want you to understand what you're getting into. And I have a lot of emotion tied up in these concepts. And I don't want the average asshole coming in and just totally defiling it because they're just stupid or ignorant or disrespectful or so self-absorbed and greedy that they do something entirely, disgusting with the information, either by sharing it or selling it or trying to repackage it. I don't have a timeline, but one of the things I said that in the mentorship, you'll hear me say, I don't know exactly where I said it, but once I start going into the new content, the first time, okay, and I want you to understand what you're getting involved in, because I'm not obligated to anybody. I'm only obligated to give you access to the 12 months core content. But there are things that I'm going to start teaching. And if I see them in your Twitter account charts, if I see them in your YouTube videos, okay, if I see them in your Instagram or Facebook, and believe me, I get things sent to me all the time. People know when they see my stuff. Okay, there's a lot of people out there looking at it. I get things sent to me all the time, and I reach out to certain people and say, hey, look, I'm getting this feedback, and this is coming from your social media or whatever, or you're teaching a course and this popped up. Okay. I get that all the time. There's a lot of people actually joining things, and I actually pay people to join other people's services. And you can be upset about that all you want, but I'm not taking their things and putting them in my content. Okay. Everyone else has my content in their shit. And they're either relabeling it, changing up this or that, or just completely not crediting me as the author or the creator of the content because they're broke. They want to sell it and they want to make money right now because they don't have the patience or the discipline to actually use the information to use it like it's been taught. So I just want the folks that come in to appreciate it because this generation today is unbelievably self-absorbed. Now I'm an egomaniac, but some of the folks that I had to deal with in mentorship, and most of them left because they're impatient, ignorant, really ignorant people. Um, I'm glad they left. I'm so glad they left because I couldn't put up with them. But because I was under contract with them, I have to deal with them. They paid for something, I had to deal with them, and they made the decision to leave. And honestly, I'm glad they did because it was draining. I didn't feel like I had a great time teaching them. In fact, I was hoping they were going to quit. It's just too much. Some people are just unteachable. I'm 100% behind you learning this. I'm not stopping. Okay, I gave away years and hours and thousands of dollars of my own money for free. People bitch about how I'm charging now. Let me tell you something. I had spent more money than most of your homes cost teaching this stuff over the years for free. You only know me from baby pips. I have been so many different personas over the years. You have no idea what I've been doing. Long and short is I have placed so much of a time and money investment into people I never will meet. So don't count my money, okay, by the head count that's coming in the mentorship. Who cares? If you're worried about that stuff, it's because you're jealous. Who cares? Who gives a shit about that? If you're not interested in joining the mentorship, I could give two shits about what you think anyway. The people that come in the mentorship, the people that spend time on my free tutorials, I care about those individuals because they're making an investment in something that I spent a lot of time in my life building. And if you have the respect to give it the time of day, and I was very intrigued. We had a member on my Twitter feed. He actually made a comment initially when he was invited to start looking at what I do. And his comment was, well, no, I've heard some bad things about that guy. And he came back and said, I looked at it and, it's not what I heard, basically. And I love hearing that. And that's all I ask these individuals to do is don't listen to what other people say about me because 99% of the shit that everybody's saying is either because I pissed them off, offended them because of their methodology, and they feel like they've, been insulted. And I want them to feel that way because I want them to come into my content with that mode of I'm going to vindicate myself and I'm going to show this asshole ICT that he don't know what he's talking about. And what happens is I trap you. You come in and I convert your ass because once you see when you really go into it and you dig into it, it's the truth. Like I said, I don't need to get out here and defend what I do. I do it because I have fun. I toy with it. But I know my shit is bulletproof. It's Teflon. It's fireproof. It's nothing's beating it. And I know if folks spend time digging into it, they're going to be convinced of it too. And if you don't feel convinced of it, then great. I don't care. It's not going to change my ability to use it and other people using it. I mean, think about it. Who who is able to change your mind right now? Think about that for a second. Who could come into your life right now and say something or show you something that would change your mind about joining the mentorship? Because if anybody or anything can do that, you never really was going to do it anyway. You're either sold on the idea that what I'm talking about works because you've seen enough of it, or you are not. There should be no way anyone or anything could change your mind about joining the mentorship. If you are sitting on the fence, I'm telling you, please stay on the fence. Please don't join. I don't want your money. I don't need it. I do not want another problem child student. I don't want that. If you are not 120% committed to going through whatever I put your ass through without questioning it, then and only then join. Because I am going to put you through some shit that is going to make you feel like I should have never joined. And it's all part of it. It's conditioning. It's things that you need. But other educators would never do it to you because they don't want bad publicity or bad press. I don't give a shit who doesn't like me or doesn't believe me. I don't care. It doesn't change anything about how I live my life. None of that's going to affect me. The things that do bother me are the individuals that actively use my content and are struggling. That I have a concern for because they are investing their time. They're putting their life, energy, time is a real big thing, and they're making a sacrifice. I don't view $1,800 as a sacrifice because you're going to spend $1,800 on stupid shit over the next 12 months. I guarantee if you keep track of what you spend money on, every one of you have $1,800. Every single one of you have $1,800 to spend. Some of you are saying you don't have it, you can't afford it, but I guarantee you, you're going to McDonald's and having a Big Mac. Okay, you're going to do that a couple times a month. You're going to buy stupid ass video games and waste hours and time in front of that. I know because my wife lets my kids do it until I get in the room and upset that whole show. You're going to waste $1,800. I guarantee you, you're going to do it this year. And if you go back at the end of the year and look back, you're going to say, "Oh, well, I could have done that." Well, maybe he'll put some more videos out. Yeah, it'll be hindsight videos. The mentorship's going to be there. The doors are always open for you to come in, but I don't want you coming in with the wrong ideas, and I don't want you wasting time because the longer you wait, it's just going to be frustrating knowing that the classes before you are doing things that you cannot pay yourself through fast enough to get to that level again. There's always going to be a segregation between the first class and the second class, and the second class and the third class, and the third class and the fourth class, so on and so on and so on. The longer you put it off, the larger the gap is going to be to getting to where you ultimately want to be at. And I'm committed. I've been around for a long, long time for free. And when you pay me, I'm even more obligated now, aren't I? So I want you to know that I'm in this for the long haul. I'm not going away. I love it. I absolutely love it. And if I can maintain a core community, I could never run out of passion then because the energy that comes from the folks that are in our community, I feed off of that. I love it because it inspires me to do more because they appreciate it. 90% of the folks that are on my Twitter account, okay, they like my content, but they're not sold on the content. They're, let's watch and see what he says and see what happens. Waiting for that one time so they can talk about when it didn't work or when I was wrong. But never mind the thousands of times I've been right. So we're at the time in the video where I'm going to kind of like talk about what is going on and what's actually needed to go forward. If you got this email, it should be familiar to you by looking at it. There is no get on board button here. Folks are trying to click on this and they're saying the button doesn't work. Okay. What you need to do is first watch this video right here by clicking on that. That is a video where you click on it, it will absolutely take you to the YouTube video that is the product description of the mentorship and actually go in and show you what the content is and the whole show. This link here is a PDF file where it again gives you the breakdown of the content, the core content that your $1,800 pays for. That is not all the learning, and it's in your PDF file as well. So you have it in writing from me that after $1,800 is paid, there is never any more money paid to me, period. Your attendance and access to the content and ongoing learning is limited after $1,800 only if you do not provide me with satisfaction that you received everything, all the months for 12 modules are paid for, you're 100% satisfied with what you got, and you wish to be a member for life access. In other words, you're a charter member. When I get that, I change your profile group name to charter member. When that occurs, you're never paying me $1 ever again, and you'll have access to everything I ever put out in the future. And when I do live sessions in 2019 again, you'll be able to see that and be a part of it. And again, this is all private stuff. It's not for public consumption. And any new lessons I give, it's all free for you in the mentorship. But it's important that I condition you throughout these months to. I don't need you to show me charts on Twitter, okay, or Facebook showing me that you did what I taught in the mentorship. Please don't do that. And I bitched about this a lot because folks lose their mind when they see it start working and they see it happening and it was right, so they want to share it with me on social media. I don't want you doing that, okay? You can lose your account by doing that. And I don't care that you paid 9 months or 10 months or 12 months. You will lose your seat in this. And you could be in this after 12 months and say you're satisfied. If you're caught sharing this stuff and I can prove it and I have documentation, I screen capture it, I record it in video also. Everything is time and date stamped. I go through the process. It's a whole winded thing where I'm proving that the date it's occurring, all that stuff. Showing that way when you try to complain about how you got kicked out eventually later on or whatever, it won't make a difference. And I don't want to do that. So that's why we have a forum. You share that with me in the forum. Okay. You're welcome to send me a tweet link to the forum where if you want special attention drawn to it, great. Only mentorship people who have access to get into the forum that will see that stuff, and then I can respond to you that way. And that's fine. But I don't want folks getting excited and sharing it publicly because that's not what I want from everyone to. I don't want that happening. But back to this email, I want you to watch the video. Okay, this is the purpose of the email. Watching the video, it outlines and gives a product description. It talks about the no money, no refund, rather, 100% no refund. Whatever money you send me, unless it's a double payment, which we won't have double payments anymore, you're going to be doing manual payments to me. I'm not doing automatic payments. They were a pain in the ass. Accounts would skip, forget all that. You're going to send me the payments manually, 12 of them. It's only 12. So please don't complain to me. Don't ask me for automatic payment stuff. The first of every month or whatever it is that you feel comfortable doing it, just do that every single month for 12 months. And when it's done, it's done. Okay. But everything is outlined what I expect. And then you also have the risk disclosures and the fact that I'm teaching in a medium of a demo account in every asset class. If it's bonds, if it's futures and commodities, if it's S&P, if it's Forex, okay, stocks, it's all in the medium of a demo account. Okay, I absolutely am never offering live account trading advice because I don't want you suffering a monetary loss. That's not what you're in here for. You're in here to learn. Once you watch that video, okay, you have a product description and all of the things that you need to know. You're never getting your money back. You will lose your account if you do certain things. And you have to have an understanding of the risk disclosure and the fact that you understand that it's 12 months at $150 payable by PayPal only. You have to have an email account that matches the account that's on file with PayPal. Your address and all those things have to be in PayPal because when you do your sign up, you provide me with a mailing address. If that mailing address does not match PayPal and it's not verified with your credit card or your banking information, it'll show in my end when I look up your information. Okay. If you have a problem with this, don't sign up. Okay. I'm not making your information public. I'm never giving any kind of information like that out. But I need to know that you are who owns that PayPal account. If your address is not verified through PayPal, you will not be a part of the mentorship. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. I've had folks that tried to sign up in the first class and their account didn't have a verified address and they were unwilling to provide their real address, and I just canceled their payments. They never got an access to anything, and it is what it is. So I have to make sure you are who you are supposed to be, and that's why I make you do 12 months because no one's going to have their account charged 12 times, providing all the information with your home address, all that shit, okay? And then also have an Adobe signature that's verified through that same email address. There's so many things that I show for verification purposes, and that's why it takes this long, because I don't want to be babysitting, scammers or assholes, okay? If you're in here trying to beat me for the mentorship, I promise you, you will lose, okay? No one except for one guy, okay? One guy got his money back because I did not get a satisfaction from him initially, and he didn't really get any real content either. It was just really September content, which really is a really basic primer to liquidity runs and stuff like that. But it's essential. You need to know it. But that was the turning point for me to use the Adobe sign. Once I had that, it's over. So no one got their money back. About 6 people tried. 7 people now. One guy just recently tried to get all his money back. He said that it's been 9 months after he left. He went 9 months in, quit, and then waited 9 months and says, "Yeah, you're a scammer. I want all my money back." And I'm like, "Well, no, you're not getting it." And the stuff that I teach, put 2 people on the Robbins World Cup board, and I got tons and tons of testimony where people actually show with verified MyFX books that they may not be sharing with you, but if I'm ever investigated, I can show proof that people have learned from me using this content, and I get emails on a weekly with what they're doing in terms of returns, and believe me, I'm content. I'm 100%. I pay taxes quarterly on the stuff that I earned through this mentorship. I am 100% legit, okay? I'm not hiding from taxes. I have a business entity. I conduct myself as I should, okay? And I stay in a demo account for that reason. I have to be compliant with US regulations, and I am not certified to give trade advice, so we study price action in a demo account, and that's what the product description is, and you have to agree to that with this video. When you have watched the video and you're in agreement to all those things, okay, and you want to join and you understand what you're getting involved in, this is the link down here. When you click on that, that takes you to a web page, and it goes to my website. This is what should be popping up. When you click on that, if this isn't opening up, then all you got to do is just look at this this address up here, theinnercircletrader.com/enrollment.html. Read this portion right here, because this is important, because this is why I'm doing this stage of the enrollment. I have to segregate the individuals that are trying to put their email address in when they already are in the mentorship. Okay, I asked the individuals to take their name off the email address list, initial, and they didn't do it. So I know what you're afraid of. If you're listening to this, you think I'm giving something away that you are not having access to. The first class has already gone through the things that the new class is going to be paying for pre-recorded videos of. There's no live sessions. I'm not sitting in the room with GoToWebinar doing live sessions and talking about the market live again. Okay, I still am getting emails, okay, from folks and Twitter saying, "Hey, look, can we be a part of the group when you do live sessions?" And I've said this in the mentorship. I've put it in posts in the mentorship forum. I've said it in YouTube videos. I'm saying it again here. Please stop putting your name in this list if you are already in the mentorship, because all you're doing is creating one more step for me, okay, to go through and verifying all these accounts. It's you're creating work for me, and all I'm trying to do is focus on the folks that have not gone through the mentorship, that's not enrolled right now. If you have gone through it, I will see you, because I have a list of people that can't come back in. It's 200 of you. It's real easy. Once I see an email address, I go through a real quick spreadsheet. If that email address is there, obviously you can't come back in. And why would anybody want to pay if they've gone through several months? You're welcome to do it. I'll take your money if you want to do it again. But long and short is, if you're knowingly trying to go through the same stuff, you're gonna have to go through that whole process of paying it again twice. So if you want to pay me twice and do it without hiding, with hiding your identity or whatever, and you want to go through the content because you can't get back in another way, I guess there's no way for me to hide or keep you from doing that. But just understand that you're gonna pay twice for something that would have only cost you once. But anyway, this point here, if you are not presently in the mentorship, Only individuals that are not in the mentorship, okay, are putting their email address down here, okay? You have to agree before you put your email address in there that you have received and agreed to the no refund policy and terms of use for this membership, which is that basically the video and the PDF file I just showed you before we changed to the screen. You're going to be asked to sign digitally your name. Now, when this occurs, I'm going to be sending you a video that goes along with this, okay? I do not want you to take your finger or a stylus and sign your name because I will not be able to read it. And Adobe Sign sometimes creates this inability for it to be legible. And I'm sure some of you are going to say, well, that's my signature. I don't care. Okay, I want you to use the Adobe Sign type feature where when you click the button, as I'm going to show you in a video once you receive the documentation for enrollment, it's a video that's really short. You do everything that that video tells you to do. And if you do that, there will be no problems and the enrollment process will be seamless and I will not be resending the documentation for you to sign again. Okay? I had to do this so many times with people because their signature was invalid. I had people faking their name. They were writing somebody else's name, hoping that I wouldn't catch it. I'm catching it. I'm reading every single one of these every single time it comes. So when this occurs and you use the type feature, it'll look like a signature, but you're using your keyboard to type your name. And it must be your full first and last name, okay? Not your name that you go by. It's going to have to be your name as it is with PayPal. So a lot of folks that are Arabic, I had folks that would use something other than their full name. And I'm like, you can't do that. You got to sign what you have as a name with PayPal. And I had to go back and forth over and over again with those individuals, and it was just a problem. So I've learned my lesson. I'm making it very difficult for anyone to do anything other than what I'm asking for. And if you don't do this, it will be rejected. And if you don't do it by the third time, I'm refunding your money, and I don't really want you in the mentorship. You have to follow the instructions. If you don't follow the instructions in the enrollment, you sure as hell ain't going to follow the instructions in the mentorship. And I don't want people like that in there. Okay, so it's very, very clear, short little video. It's going to show you how to sign and fill out the enrollment documentation, what needs to be there. If anything is omitted or left undone, or hand signatures done, it's void. You get 3 chances with that. If it's not done in the third chance, I'm done. Your money is refunded and you will not be permitted to do it. I'm sorry, but I have learned my lesson from individuals in the last class. They were a problem the entire way through until they finally got frustrated and either quit or did it the right way. But it took so many times, it's not worth it. Okay, so once you understand that you're going to be signing digitally for this, you're signing that you understand that I'm teaching in a demo account, that you cannot make money with this because it's a demo account. You cannot lose money because it's a demo account. I'm not giving you signals. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm talking from my own personal experience, or if I could go back in time, what I would do differently. Okay. Once you submit to this and you understand, once you put your email address in here, when that occurs, okay, you are now on a list that I'm waiting because there's a lot of people that joined the initial list, but they reported that the links aren't working in their email, which is why I'm doing this long-winded explanation here. If your link didn't work in your email, just go to this website address here, okay? And if you agree to the no refund policy, the terms of use, the risk disclaimers, the fact that I'm teaching in a demo account 100% of the time, it's not a signal service, and everything you're buying is pre-recorded for the 12 modules, initial modules. Later on, there'll be future teachings that will not cost you anything after you complete the 12 modules, but nothing is occurring live. You're not sitting with me on a live day-by-day basis. Nothing like that is existing, okay? That does not happen. That's the part of the mentorship I said I was never, ever, ever doing again, and I meant it. It's just too much. I can't even concentrate with that many people coming at me at one time. And now that the group is being larger than that, there's no way I would even contemplate doing that. No way, okay? So by putting your email address in there, you're agreeing that you understand all these terms and you're agreeing to it, and then it will take, once you make your payment, once you receive the instructions on how to make the payment and how that money is sent to me by way of PayPal, as soon as you pay me, the clock starts on a 5 business day, not weekends, Okay, not Saturday or Sunday, 5 business days, Monday through Friday. It'll take up to 5 business days because I'm not doing anything on the weekends anymore. I worked my ass off this past year on weekends, and I had to beg and plead for the folks to give me 1 day of the week on the weekend just to give me rest because I couldn't do anything. It's going to take me about 5 days to set everyone up. There's so many of you, and you're going to get 2 forms of login. You're going to have a username and a password that gets you in the mentorship forum. Once you're inside there, you can see all of the text, you can see the charts that I share, but when you click on a link that opens up a tutorial, you're going to use a different username and a different password that will be supplied to you. You do not make them. You cannot change them. You can't adjust them. You can't change your usernames at all. The only password you can change is the one that gets you into the forum. Like if you forget your password, but you know your username, you can click on the login box where it says forgot password, and then you can change the password. If you do that, I don't necessarily know what your password is, so I can't change that for you. Well, I can change it for you, but I don't know what it is if you change it from the one I supplied to you initially, which is what I advise everyone when you get your enrollment. I give you a temporary password, and I encourage you to change it to something you can remember. You will not be able to change the password for the links that's inside the membership. Okay, so those are the links, those things I'm tracking, and I do an audit once a month on how many times an ISP address has been used for the forum. So I'm tracking all that actively. So if you're sharing your account, I'm going to see it, I'm going to catch you, and you will lose your account. It's all going to be in the final documentation as well. You will be signing your agreement to that. So if I kick your ass out because I can prove it and show that it's being done by multiple ISP addresses, I already know what you're going to tell me, but I access it from work, or I travel and I do this, I do that. Then don't access it while you're away from your home. If you can't submit to this, don't join, because I'm telling you, you will have your account deactivated, and I don't care how many months you've paid. I have been really abused the last time, and now that I've had time to go back and look at it, I can see how many times people have had other ISP addresses used with their account. And some of them didn't stay with the whole membership. Some of them have. Some of them are already there, and I'm watching them right now. And I know when I put the new content up in the end of this month, I know the ones that have clear signs of sharing their access. If they do it, they're going to lose their account, and they're going to bitch and cry, and they're going to try to get a hold of PayPal. They're going to try to do a chargeback, and it's going to fail because I can prove that their account has been logged in by date, time, everything, and by the ISP addresses. So don't risk it. Treat it like it's a college course. Only study when you're home. Don't do it when you're abroad. Don't do it when you're on vacation. Don't do it while you're at work. You're getting paid to do that anyway. Okay, so don't steal the employer's time. Be a good steward. Do this when you're home. Work from one ISP address, and there it is. Because I'm telling you, if I see multiple ISP addresses, I don't care what you tell me. I'm telling you what I see that as, and it's abuse of the access. You're sharing your access, and or there's no other reason for it. Okay, so especially when I can prove it's in different states. So the long and short is, these are things that are necessary for me. Okay, and I want you to know that my conviction is strong about doing the best I can in terms of your understanding and development. I do not want to see the new content shared, because I want you to understand, if I start seeing this, you don't know what I'm going to teach. You have no idea the things that I'm going to teach in the future. If I see my things start getting shared in the new content, you don't know what I'm going to withhold. And I want you to think about that, okay? Because if I see my stuff being shared openly, there are certain things I already know on the top of my list I would never want to share with anyone, not even for any amount of money, okay? But I'm hoping over several years of working with a group of individuals that you'll grow to appreciate and respect what I've been able to do with this information. And by respecting it, keeping it private. You are part of a group that isn't going to repeat itself forever. Okay, there's going to be eventually a time when I can't do it physically. And when that happens, the show's over. My intent is to hopefully trust you folks enough to be able to share everything I actively really want to share. But we've had several people and one student that really abused it and tried to make a name for himself falsely. And it's very disappointing. I want you to be proud to be a student of mine, but I equally want to be proud of you as a student. Like, I want to have faith that what I'm investing in you, not because of your $1,800, but because your respect and appreciation of what I had to go through, which you have no idea. You have no idea what I had to endure to get to this. And no matter what I tell you and share with you, it still won't take you to what it's like to have having gone through it. So just know that it's a long, long journey. It's not short, it's not easy, it's not quick, and it's a lot of work, tons of work. You're going to work your ass off with this information, and it's not going to be something that happens overnight. But if you're committed and you want to learn something that isn't going to be taught by anyone else, even my students, they can't teach this. They can't, because they have no idea where I'm taking the core content. They have no experience behind the things that they don't even know what I'm going to be teaching next. So just because someone has gone through it, it's not the same. It's not this because they don't have the experience. Just because they can use the vernacular, the vocabulary, the things that are descriptors and reference points, okay, PD arrays. You're going to hear about all these things in the mentorship. They are things that will be built upon over future teachings. The folks that have gone through the 12 months and started incorporating it in their own services or whatever, come on, it's going to stand out. Once the word is out on who's sharing the stuff, I'm just going to make an example of you publicly, because I have no skin in the race whether people stay with your business or not, and I don't care who doesn't like mine. I don't need my business to support myself. Like, I don't need it. I'm already past all that. So I'm in a position of a win-win, and I get off on smacking people openly for disrespecting me or my content or my students, because I can. I don't have to be politically correct. In fact, I enjoy not being politically correct. I like being a rebel. So I'll make an example of everyone that tries to do that, and it shouldn't be done, because all you're going to do is inspire me to hold back information. So if you're in the group and you're trying to share or make it public or whatever, all you're going to do is ensure that you don't learn the things that you would otherwise learn if the group just handles themselves like professionals and just simply go through the process of a tightly knit community that has respect for one another, and ultimately for me and my content. Because again, you're in my house, you're in my home. You hear the things that go on in my life in the mentorship, some very private things that I'm very open and candid about. You get to know me, and you may not want to know me. You may not want to be listening to this video anymore. You probably turned it off. Long and short is, I'm as real as it gets, and I don't hold anything back with individuals that are close to me. And I want to feel confident that I can say what's on my mind and describe things in the concepts without any fear or trepidation about how it's going to be abused later on. And it's the young guys that have that problem. The young guys that are hungry, that want to make money right now. They know that I'm a big draw. My name has draw to it. If they go out and say they went through the mentorship, they know right away people that don't have a whole lot of money, they can't pay $150. They can throw them $25 or $50, the equivalent, every single month. And it could be an ICT Junior on the sly. Believe me, people rat everyone out, and I hear about it eventually. It'll take some work, but I'll figure out who it is, and then you'll be gone. So, is it worth it? I'll leave that up to you to decide. But the process is what I've explained here. It's been a long-winded explanation and a long, long video, I know. So if you waited this long and you listened to it, well, congratulations. This is about what it's going to be like when you go through the mentorship. A lot of things are going to be said. A lot of things are going to feel like, that really wasn't for me. And a lot of things you're going to say, wow, that was right for me. And you have the luxury of going as fast as you want through the monthly content, where everyone else had to wait. They had to wait for the specific times of day we were meeting, and they had to endure it live. Not, no, can't go to the next lesson until it starts. You have the advantage of being able to control when you watch everything. Okay, so you have that advantage that the first class didn't have. You can go slower than you want. You can watch 2 or 3 episodes in one day. You can digest the content for the whole month at a faster pace than 1 month, but you still will have to wait until the next month's time before you can go to the next level. I'm forcing that on everyone because the idea is, obviously some of you are going to be crazy and say, okay, I went through this month, I want to buy the next one. And then you'll be doing 12 months of content in 3 months. Then I'm forced as a merchant to contend with someone that has done that. And then we're going to be doing this whole rigmarole about, wanting their money back because some of you just want the content. And I'm not selling you videos. I'm selling you a membership, a lifelong membership. As long as I'm alive and able to speak and articulate my thoughts and I can see, that's required because otherwise if I can't see anything on the charts, it's going to be hard for me to talk about anything. The mentorship doesn't end. Like I want you to understand that there is no end to this until I can no longer do it. When I can't do it, then it's done. So to me, that's exciting. I wish I had something like this coming up. I wish I had the ability to find someone that would be this excited about teaching, because everyone back then, they really didn't know what the hell they're doing. Let's be honest. They didn't know what they were doing. Even Larry Williams admits he sucks as a trader. The bottom line is, I want to make the most unique experience. And quite honestly, I want people to write books about me. And that sounds very egotistical, I know. But I want to write my own books, yeah. But I want people to write books about me. And obviously, I probably won't see it in my lifetime. But I know the things I'm going to be sharing are completely revolutionary because I've seen them in action. And there's no one else that knows about them because I authored them, I found them, and I've shared them with no one. Nobody knows the things that's going to come. And that's exciting for me. Like, I can't wait. I cannot wait to go into those new concepts that build a greater understanding, yes, but also reveal things that otherwise have never been discussed or talked about. And that's fascinating. And I want to be able to do that. But you have to earn that. I have to trust the community that I'm presenting that stuff to. And it's not going to happen right away. That's not going to happen right away. But you'll see a lot of things gradually shared over time. And the fact that what I'm working with you, just the first 2 years, that's worth the price of the mentorship alone. You don't really need anything new. You don't need anything new beyond what I'm going to share in the 12 modules and the core content. That itself is done. If I wanted to be complete, I could say, okay, I'll do 2 years of content and then that's it. I don't need to teach anything else because you should be able to do very well without it. Anything new wouldn't be necessary. But I know how I was. And when I found something that was like unbelievably dynamic, I couldn't rest. I was like a drug. It was literally like crack. Okay, and I've never done drugs before, but I can see Dave Chappelle used to do that skit where he's like, hey, scratching his face and stuff. He's like a fiend. I think it was Dave Chappelle. I hope I got it right. But that's how I felt. Like I couldn't get enough of it. And it was just me. And I tried to get my friends turned on to it. And they're like, I'm not interested in that stuff. Until they started seeing the cars I'm driving, and then I stopped working. When they saw that, then they were interested right away. But even then, you would think that would be passion for them to, to get crazy about it too. It didn't happen like that. And I guess I'm not surprised because if you look at the mentorship people, some people are just like, I never hear anything from any of them. They made their payments. They didn't talk to me. They didn't send me any emails. They didn't complain. They didn't give me any, accolades either. They just existed quiet. And who knows what they're thinking or what they are doing now. But I expected a certain measure of excitement, when I shared it with my friends, and it didn't happen. Like my own children, I am so passionate about them learning this, and two of them tried. One of them, I tried to inspire him, and you hear about this. It's Cody in the mentorship, but it he doesn't care. He doesn't want to do it, and you have no idea how frustrating that is for me as a father, because I'm like that football dad, but I don't like football. I hate freaking sports. I can't stand it. Martial arts. It's about the extent of it, but I don't want my children to have to rely on anything or handouts from me passing on. I don't want that. I want them to be able to carve out their own legacy and pass it on to their kids. And if they're not actively trying to learn it themselves, how can they do it without me making videos? And that's why I'm doing this. Okay, because it's too good to just pass away when I do. And I hope I don't pass away anytime soon, God forbid. But that's what keeps me going. Like I worry about this stuff. Like I worry about my grandkids that I might not ever see them. I don't have any grandkids yet, but if something happens to me, I want them to be able to go back and listen to these things and say that was my grandfather, or that was my great great grandfather, and look what he was able to do, and look what he did with his life. Because I have spent my life investing in other people. Everyone thinks I'm panhandling for $1,800. $1,800 is nothing. I could ask for more, and people would pay it. They would bitch about it initially, but once they get through the content, they won't bitch anybody. They just would be happy with it. I don't want to get rich off of mentorship. I want to have a life filled with lives I impacted and changed for the better and inspired them to do for other people. That's my life. That's what I do. And yeah, on the side I have my fun with trolls and people that hate me and all that stuff and whatever. But I'm not worried about any of that stuff. I'm entertained by it. But what I'm actively concerned about and where my passion is how people interact with others. And if I can change your lifestyle to put you in a position that thinks about someone else and how you can impact their life on the positive, then I have succeeded. And that's what I want. I want something as a reward that you're not going to be able to give me while I'm here. I'm looking for a reward that's going to happen from someone that eventually I'm going to stand before and give a testimony for what I've done here. And I want to be able to say, I did my best. And my heart was in it. My passion was behind it. Well intentions were the driver the whole entire time. And I was sincere from the beginning to the end. That's what I want. I mean it through my free tutorials, and I mean it with the mentorship. Like I wear my heart on my sleeve 100% of the time, because that's the only way you can be real. And there's sometimes you've heard me in the past, when I talk about certain things, and I'm about there right now, I get emotional because I'm real. I'm not a bot. I'm not AI. I'm not four people trying to be one person. I'm the same Michael. And I want to impact people's lives. And when I'm unsuccessful in doing that, I take it personal. I personally feel like I failed. And I don't like that feeling, because I want to do whatever I can within my ability to empower someone else, because I know what it's like going to jobs, not one, two jobs, and just barely make it and have no hope in changing things and turning it around, and or having no outlet. As a younger man, it was martial arts and lifting weights and girls. Eventually, the one girl settled me down, and then the weightlifting stopped and the martial arts stopped, and I didn't have an outlet except for this. So my family life forced me to go this direction. And I started taking stock in my life and looking at what I'm doing with my time here. And granted, I could do whatever I want to do. Nothing can stop me from going anywhere I want in the world, stopping whatever I'm doing, saying, okay, family, let's go. We're going here. Nothing can stop me from doing that. I'm blessed. I'm a very, very, very blessed man. But it's pointless and superficial to just live like that. If I'm blessed, it's better for me to help others do similar things and think differently about their neighbor, people that they don't know, and how they interact with other people. And if I can get folks to think like that, and a medium was used by way of teaching trading in a demo account and understanding price action, to me that's fascinating. See, you're all here because you want to learn how to look at price action and eventually, I guess, learn how to trade with live money in your own decision making, not mine. That's what led you here. I'm trying to make and shape decent human beings. That's what I really want. That's what this is all about. And I want to be a catalyst for that change. And that's why I ask for your story, because I want to know what you did with it. I get all kinds of stories about how people bought cars and they went on trips or whatever. They're buying houses and they don't have their job anymore. Or they work for a big firm now, or they've been picked up by XYZ capital management, and that's great. I'm not dismissing any of that. That's awesome. But I'm really looking for the people that say, I'm in a position right now where I could change these individuals' lives because they're in need. And I was able to do that. And when I see that is I selfishly, without saying so, put myself right in the middle of that and say, I was the driver that God used to allow that to happen. And you have no idea the sheer joy, the agape love I feel when I get that experience. When I have that, that is like over the moon feeling. It's an emotional wave that hits me. I'm so happy. I share it with my wife, I share it with my kids, and it means something versus just watching dad be on the computer all the time. Dad's making videos. It personifies the people that are on the other end because they just see me talking to a screen. I got microphones in front of me. They see all these TVs and monitors in front of me, and they think, I'm playing video games because I have all these charts and stuff up. And they felt that from little kids to now teenagers. But now I'm able to put human lives behind that. When people give me video testimonies or feedback saying, hi, Michael, I'm so and so from so and so part of the world. And, being with you has been an experience where, they give it to me from, I can see them and I can hear them in their own voice. And it's an exhilarating experience because I get to put the face and voice to people where otherwise I just know them by a screen name. And some of them I talk to a lot, and you know who it is. If you speak to me on a day by day basis or frequently throughout the week, it's not a lot of you, but a few of you are like that. The element of being able to put your identity with who you are in relationship to me and my teachings, either by free tutorials or by the mentorship, that's special to me. That to me, like I said, it personifies it, and it means something more to my children because they get to see what dad's been doing all these years. And yeah, some of you are paying me $1,800, but there's a lot of you that never will spend a penny on anything I've ever done, but you invested your time in what I've taught. And you're sharing those testimonies with me. And that's awesome. I mean, that is awesome. I feel so privileged to be such a simple guy from a little town in Baltimore, Maryland called Middle River, okay, to be such an insignificant character in my neighborhood, coming from a low income, very, very modest upbringing, to be such an influence on people all around the world. I'm gobsmacked. So it's crazy to see how many people I've impacted over the years. And I want you all to know, when you share those things with me, I treasure that. And when we did the mentorship the first time, I had a PO box where people were required. You're not going to be required to do this, by the way, but I required them to send me a hard copy of the signature because I wanted ink, because I didn't trust Adobe initially. but Adobe Sign is really good. It works real good. The credit card companies do not give you your money back when you request it, and PayPal won't allow you to get your refund either. But some people sent me Christmas cards and or gifts from where they were in the world, and some of them had the opportunity to send me like DVDs where they recorded their family and what they did, and they all sat in front of the Christmas tree and they all said thank you and what their time with me meant, and that's emotional. Like I had the privilege to watch that, and not just by a few of them. I mean, it was a lot of people. So I take this gift that you all give me by allowing me to share my life with you, the things that I've been able to go through. I know some of you guys watch me become an asshole in terms of my ego, online. And yes, true to form, that's me when it comes to trading. That's me. But when I'm not wearing that hat and it's just Michael, this is me. So you all have the ability to touch me like that. And it's a wonderful experience that I treasure every single time I get an opportunity to do so. And when you guys send me feedback in email, it encourages me. It fuels me to do more because it shows that my time is not wasted. My efforts are not wasted. My resources aren't being wasted. And I'm not up here pretending. I'm actively pursuing a lifetime of testimonies and stories that I've done something positive in people's lives that made them think differently and think differently about their neighbor, someone else that they can help and do for. And to see the things that other people are doing, it's crazy that I had a small part in that, but they give me all the credit. And I'm not asking you to do that. I don't want the credit. I just want you to share it with me because I love it. My kids, my wife and I would be in tears many times around Christmas time. We had literally 700 Christmas cards come in, and some of them came in with gifts, which I didn't ask for. I didn't ask for any of these things. And it was just, family photos. I mean, people opened up to us, and it was so wonderful. It was wonderful. And that's the community aspect I'm trying to build. I want that. I don't want a stilted business model where you're a customer. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want every one of you to feel comfortable being able to ask me anything you want to ask me. And I want to feel like I can say anything I want to say. Like right now, I'm talking to you like if you were in my home. This is how I would talk to you. I would talk to you the same way if you were here. And I want to conduct myself like that. I don't have a script. I don't ever write down anything that I'm going to say beforehand. I don't do that. I just want to say what's on my mind, how I feel, and what I feel led to teach. A lot of my teaching comes by way of what's on my heart at the time or what has been inspired because of some kind of reaching out by one of my students, whether it be a mentorship student or a free tutorial member. It inspires me to talk about or speak about a specific thing. And most of the live sessions start with really no preconceived direction. I am led by where the thought processes are and all the questions that come by, which you don't see, and you'll see me when we do the live sessions, the recordings, you don't see those questions come by, but they're zipping by at light speed, hundreds of them at a time. So I have to sometimes go back and scroll up and see, and sometimes I'm getting a question that'll drive the whole live session. And sometimes people will say it doesn't make any sense why I did that. But I know if I could go back in time, someone with my measure of experience when I was having good times and when I was having bad times and when I was having dry spells when I really wasn't losing money, but I wasn't making money either. What was that like? What was I doing to stay motivated? What were those things that I had to endure? See, that's the stuff you need to know. You need to know those things. You're going to have times when you can't do anything right. Where are you going to lean on? Who's going to help you through that? Your spouse isn't going to do that. As much as they may be supporting your decision right now, I guarantee you They're not going to be the right one when you can't do anything right. They're not going to satisfy you. They're not going to be the encouragement. They could tell you all the things in the world to pat you on the back. Honey, it's okay. You'll get through it. Just stick it out. You need to have someone that's been there. And I have been there. And my stories may not fit the bill, but I'm honest and I tell you what's really happened. And when it was good, it was good. And when it's bad, you learn all about that and what I did to get through it. So it's hard, admittedly. It's very, very hard to stay motivated, especially if you can't see positive results. And the worst thing you can do is listen to somebody that's never had the downside of it. Because especially if you had someone that's a new person, then they've only had experienced, recent profitability, if you want to call it that, or success. Um, that's not someone I would want to learn from. I want someone that has gone through war, has the scars that prove it, lost a lot of money, and has not had that affect them in terms of their ability to be able to do this long term. And there's very few people. Look around, man. There's not a lot of people that can say they've been doing it a quarter of a century and show this level. Like, I'm nuts. Like, I am absolutely insane about the markets, trading, price action, the whole lifestyle. I mean, I'm in this. Like, I live this stuff. If you can't see or hear that in when I'm doing my presentations, I don't know. Because I'm telling you right now, I am like, it's my Viagra. Like, I love it. Okay, I absolutely love it. It fuels my whole existence. And I love my children, I love my wife, okay, but I'm telling you, nothing compares to the feeling of being able to teach this stuff to people and watch them become able to see it before it happens and their understanding. The excitement they share, the enthusiasm, and the appreciation, that's what I'm addicted to because I know exactly what you're feeling right now. You want to feel confident that you know what you're looking for, you know what you're going to do, and you're not going to be confused if it doesn't work out or if it starts to turn around. You're not going to be scared about it. You know what you're going to do as a response to that. I know what that feels like to not have those answers. I know that. There was nobody for me. I had to do all this stuff on my own. And I'm convinced that God, and you may not believe in him, but I do, his name will come up a couple times in the mentorship, but I don't preach to anyone because ultimately you're not going to believe in him unless he leads you to him. So just know that my faith resides in Christ. I don't always act like a Christian, and I don't ever claim to be a poster boy for it, but I am not the 4X Jesus, and I'm not 4X God. I'm not a God. I don't like when people say that. I don't like it when people make references to that. I don't think like that's cool. I'm never liking those posts. I get upset. I get angry, and I'm cringing when I see that. But I believe personally that God has had his way with me and where I've gone through certain things in life, the adversities I've experienced through trading and the ups and downs. He used all those things to change me because the initial luck I had changed me into the only ego side that you see sometimes on Twitter. That was how I was all the time. I was like that in my personal life and in every aspect. I have been humbled in ways you'll never know about. I share a lot of things in videos and then in the mentorship too, stories and such. But you have no idea to depths I've been humbled. Believe me, I do a lot of silly stuff online to get a rise out of people, but I know where I came from and I know what I've been placed into and had to be humbled. So I know where my blessings come from. I'm not oblivious to that. And it's not coming from your $1,800. It's coming from him upstairs. So whether you believe in the guy upstairs or not, like I said, that's not neither here nor there. I'm just telling you, I do. And I'm accountable to that person. Okay. I fear him. Okay. And I want to please him. And the only way I know that I am actively working towards that goal is if I pour everything that I have, all my energy, all my attention, all of my strength wisdom, experience, everything into everything that I do when I teach this. And I don't teach it for the money side. I don't teach that. I teach it from the perspective of using it to help other people. And I believe that I've been blessed because of that perspective and that outlook on it. I don't think that I would have been as successful if I would have just said, hey, look, these are my cars, and you can have a car like this, or you can have a home like this, or you can go on a vacation like this, or you can sit on your rear end and play video games when you want to. That type of lifestyle, you know, most of young men want that. You want that side of this. I'm going to tell you that gets old real quick, and then you want substance in your life. And money doesn't fill that void. It makes it a lot easier to do a lot of things when you have money, but I don't promise you that. I promise you a different perspective on life, a different perspective on how to read price action, and you have the beautiful opportunity to plug in what you're going to do with all these things. I have the wonderful privilege to have students in other parts of the world that they are working towards building soup kitchens for people that are hungry and they're homeless. And that's what their inspiration is, to do well with this. You know how amazing that feels to know that that's what their aspirations are? Not, I want to buy a $2 million home and buy Lamborghinis and BMWs and all kinds of Mercedes Benz, this and that, Veyrons, all that stuff. None of that stuff doesn't impress me. When I was a younger man, it did. That was the driving things for me. But after I got humbled, it changed everything. My perspective on things changed. Now, I like things, I like nice things, but that doesn't define me. Like, I don't feel like I have to have those things anymore. What I'm interested in is in relationships. Like, I want that I want a rich life full of stories that people have shared with me because they want to share them with me, not because I bought it in a book or watched it by a click on a YouTube video. This person knows me and I know them, and we have a relationship because we shared time together, an intimate time, not just I gave you something, you paid for it. I live this stuff, and when I share with you all, my goal is for you to appreciate it and also feel open enough to share your life with me like I've been sharing mine with you. So hopefully you got some more insight out of this video, and I probably haven't, wasted too much of your time. But I want you to know that these links in here, ultimately, the videos, what you need to watch on YouTube, just go to my YouTube channel, look up ICT Mentorship description. Please just watch that video because it does describe everything. The link in the email about the mentorship should open up to this page here. And again, it's theinnercircletrader.com/enrollment.html. If you go to that website, it'll open up this box here. If you agree to the terms that's outlined in the PDF file link, which if you just change where it says enrollment.html, if you change that to mentorship underscore outline.pdf, if you put that link in your browser, and I'll show you here doing that so you can have the link. Right there it is. Mentorship outline PDF. You click on that, it'll open up the PDF file. And it goes through the outline and the risk disclaimers and how the payments are supposed to be paid, all the things that you now have access to. And when you do a chargeback or try to do a request for money, I just send these links to PayPal, and they will be in the link in the description of the video that I'm posting on YouTube channel, so that it's time and date stamped too. I have a record of no one's sent me any money. So everyone had to see these things to do all the instructions on how to send the money to me. And you would only know that by having watched these videos. Okay, they're gonna hate me because this is a long video, so I'll have to probably put some time markers to save time in case some of you guys want to do chargebacks and lose. But the build up around all this stuff is really because I want you to understand what you're getting into. Notice I'm not in a hurry to put all the instructions up there to collect your money. I'm not interested in that. I want you to have the right mindset going in. I don't want you to waste your time, and I don't want you to feel like you wasted your money either. But more importantly, I don't want you to waste my time, because my time is very, very valuable. I've explained what I like to do with my time and how I like to live my life. I do not want to babysit individuals that have weak mindsets, that have to have it their way on their time frame, and they're not willing to put work into it, because this is going to take a lot of work. But I promise you, once you get through the work part of it, you're going to have so much fun. The community aspect of what we're building is going to be wonderful. And because you're going to be in an environment where you're not going to worry about having to live up to someone else's measurement, what they're able to do on their other account. Who cares about that? No one's judging you. No one's saying you're not doing good enough or you're not doing enough. And that's a healthy environment to be in. So if I've inspired you to join the mentorship, wonderful. If I've talked you out of it, even better, because that's what this has been about. I don't want just anyone coming in. I could collect all kinds of money. I could make $3.5 million this year if I let it happen. I don't want to just make money. I can do that on my own. I can do it rather easily. I want you to be in this because you want to be a part of it, that you have faith in the fact that you have someone that genuinely cares. I don't want you as a customer. I don't want that. Okay? There's a lot of people out there that sell things, they market things, and they put something together, they throw it away, and they don't want to be bothered. I want you to engage with me. I want you to have the same ideas about price action, and I want to measure your development through the process of a beginning point. And as long as I get to be on this earth and be aware of what's going on around me, I want to be able to have that luxury to have many friends, because a lot of my friends don't do this. They don't do this. And it bothers me that I can't talk to them like I'm talking to you. Like, you all have a genuine interest in the markets. You have a genuine interest about my concepts. You may not like me personally or have an interest in me, and I probably bored your mind, okay, and bored your socks off really with this video. But you share a same like the markets. And I'm gravitating to people like that because I've had such a void in my life, and that's why I'm passionate. When I'm on Twitter, what I'm feeling at that moment is I wish I had a friend right now that I could talk about something and they could appreciate what I just mentioned. Like when I say, hey, check out Eurodollar with a smiley face, I would wish I would be like hanging with my boys and say, hey, look what Euro's doing. Oh man, look at that, it's so bad. Look at it did this or it did that, and ain't that awesome? And we don't have to go on for like hours like I'm going on here, but just the acknowledgement of it. You know what I mean? That would be cool. But I don't have it, and I've never really had that in my life. And I want to fill that void with my relationships online. And that's why I spend so much time doing it. So hopefully you've got something out of this video, and at least you know what's coming. And I'm waiting for everyone to get in sync, because there's a large body of you that signed up for the information, but you haven't acted on it. I've seen you open the email, but you can't just open email. You got to go to the process of going into this right here. When you click on this, when that opens up, you have to go and put your email address here. If it doesn't say this portion here, if you are not presently enrolled in mentorship, you didn't give me the okay to send you the documentation that would be required. And I'm waiting for about 3/4 of the people that signed up. I'm waiting for that number, and it's a rather large number. When that occurs, then and only then I'll reach out with everyone at one click, and you'll all have it. So don't be in a rush. No one's ahead of you. Everyone will come in at the same time. But I have to make sure that I don't have more work on my hands than is necessary by having mentorship students that are already in my mentorship, going through an enrollment process. I don't want to go through, it takes a lot of time to do this by myself, and it's your personal information. So I don't want customer data or information. I wouldn't want my stuff shared with people. So I do everything personally myself. It's a one-man show. It's always been that way. I've never had a whole big conglomerate behind me, and I want to keep it intimate like that because I respect your privacy and I want you to respect mine. So hopefully you've got more information from this video, and at least if you didn't already know, at least you know a little bit more about me and what my motivations are. Until next time, I wish you good luck and good trading.